Well, maybe the Oscar-winning soundman could just start like recording his own voice, trying to emulate what the voices are supposed to sound like.
Like
Yeah.
get Frank Welker to fix it. Not that he's an Oscar-winning sound man, but he should be.
I love how the term has become sound man.
Yep.
Yes.
Oh yeah, that's probably gender like insensitive. Sound technician.
I was going to say, he sounds like a wicked Mega Man boss, and
Dr. Sound Wily man.
He's pretty crazy. He'll make a robot that is actually functioning in society and totally recall him to go kill Mega Man instead of continuing to make robots that'll make him billions.
Just activate all the sound men. Like
all of the sound men. He could do that too. Make lots of sound men.
The sound men.
It's like, has there not been any audio based like Mega Man antagonist? There has to, right?
Well, rock, roll, bass.
Well, yeah, but like sonic waves of that's his beam essentially. It's just like shockwaves.
Sung.
Splash Woman did sing.
Yeah,
9 games, but
she sang, and it brought the robot fishies down on you. But there were bosses who they would use sound-based attacks, but there was no robot master who I think was made of
like that was his thing. Like he's got headphones on and like a giant speaker in his chest.
He is a speaker or something.
He's just a speaker. He's got like trumpets for legs and shit.
Yeah, why not? That seems like that would have been obvious in comparison to like Jewel Man and whatever like happened eventually.
That was just a bad idea all around. Jewel Man, Bomb Man, anyone who explodes or just shatters when they're hit. Bad idea, Dr. Wily.
Yeah.
Also,
a
robot with a giant pair of scissors on his head. Maybe you need to rethink that one.
Like, does he even attack with those? Don't they fly off his head and do stuff?
Yes, he not only flings it off his head, he also has an arm cannon that shoots scissors.
Perfect.
Therefore, invalidating the scissors on his head.
What is he? Blade Man? Like, what are they?
Cut Man.
Cut Man, of course.
He's
one of the
first man.
What was I thinking?
Yeah.
What was? Oh yeah.
There was a Blade Man in 10. He was just a giant knife who had knife hands and knife feet. And
that's right. He was basically just a samurai.
He was quite possibly the dumbest design that Capcom ever allowed to be in a game.
He looked really dumb. He almost looked like just like a sword with 2 swords for arms.
He looks like something I'd draw in grade 3.
Yeah, this is Cut Man. But Cut Man was way more, designed. Ironically.
Yeah. And he was just like Mega Man with a different head with scissors on top.
I remember there was a Nintendo Power where they held a make your own Robot Master contest, and some dumb 8-year-old kid won with like this terrible drawing of something. I can't remember what it was, but I was so pissed off because then it's like, these are some of our other submissions and they're works of art by like 16-year-olds and stuff at the time. But no, this stupid little kid
like
with a box of crayons. Like, fuck that.
Yeah.
That kid is probably our age, actually, now that I think about it.
Well, it was just like, this will mean more to this kid than a 16-year-old.
No, it's bullshit.
Bullshit. I would love, even now, to win a Robot Master contest.
Like I don't even know what
I would shut down the site, the podcast, everything we've worked towards to just be on Twitter, just like exposure, and then the little line underneath that describes your profile, Robot Master Design Winner 2014.
Yeah.
That's all it would be. That's my claim to fame. I designed Soundman.
Apparently, yeah. We'll just take this.
He had trumpet legs and everything. And...
Trumpet legs?
I don't know what other instruments you could incorporate, but works for me. I think the speaker in the chest is kind of my favorite.
I think he has to have that. He has to have a speaker in the chest. He's got to have trumpet legs, and his head has to be like a microphone with 2 eyeballs.
Ooh.
A microphone? Oh, man. What would his arms be?
Trumpets. Oh wait, we already said trumpets for legs.
Well, yeah, he's got trumpets for legs, so I'm guessing one of his arms would be like a trombone, and that would be
Because
one
then
of
it
his
can
attacks. It
extend.
can extend, yeah.
Amazing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then the other one, I don't know. Maybe the other one would just be a sound blaster card or something. He would like flail it around, but it wouldn't do anything. That would kind of be the comical attack that he has.
What if he had two little like tweeters speakers as eyes? He is just made complete. He doesn't even have normal eyes. He's made completely out of sound devices.
We
I don't know
want
how
this guy
he's
to totally hate his life, do we?
perceiving anything, but yeah.
He basically talks out of his eyes because the speaker in his chest would be for like attacks, I would assume.
Oh, I was just thinking about like that stupid microphone joke I fell for a couple weeks ago. Like this fits that logic of just like, hey, how many fingers am I holding up? Exactly, because you could hear it.
I can't believe you fell for that. You're so gullible.
I know, I am, and I explained my gullibility.
I was gonna say, did you know gullible isn't in the dictionary, Nathan?
Oh damn, they did that again.
I will look this up right now.
Dictionary.com. Yeah.
Let's see what's going on. Like, has Urban Dictionary committed to this, where it's just like not in there? And it's like, oh, that's kind of funny.
I would love it if Dictionary.com was just like on April Fool's Day they took that word out.
Like, and that's their subtle little joke. Like, that's it.
Yeah. So like one person out of the whole internet might be like, oh man,
stumbles
gullible really isn't in the dictionary.
God damn. Whoever told me this is someone I'll listen to for the rest of my life.
Welcome to the Quick Response Podcast.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Pixel Response Podcast, the only podcast on the internet that doesn't really know what name to go under. As always, I'm your host, Paul, and with me is Nathan.
Welcome to Burning Barrel.
That's right, and special guest, two fat guys talk gaming and a bunch of other random stuff on the internet, Carlos.
Hey.
Hey, we've been talking a little bit, probably pre-show stuff. You probably heard some of the conversation we had about Soundman before.
Oh, you think you're going to slot that in like early? It's not like an end of show teaser or something? I don't know what it's teasing. Probably like a new Mega Man game.
Soundman.
Yeah, I'm not sure you want to deny people the majesty of Soundman, the robot who can only hear and not see and is always suffering and dies to a single hit of his own weapon.
He's just always screaming because he can't see what he's doing, so he's using echolocation. That's what the mic is. He's screaming at his eyes, and then when it bounces back off the walls into his mic head, he can see what's going on.
So what counters that then? Something that renders you kind of like silent somehow?
Like Librarian Man?
Ooh, see, we said the quietest room in the world is books, so Bookman or something. You go there first.
Bookman sounds just like Mega Man's lawyer or something.
Like, went to Harvey Bookman and
I think the issue with Bookman, I'd always want to pronounce his name Bookman.
Yeah,
be like, and then you need Bookman's weapon, and that just wouldn't be right in a Mega Man game. Megaman. Soundman.
Of the New Jersey Megamans.
The New Jersey Megamans. Phil Megaman.
Hey, quick news story. A little girl got shot 3 times in New Jersey.
Oh, no.
Isn't that weird? Like, what the
I was a little kid. Like, was this like Crossfire or just...
Dude, I don't know. Like, when I read it, it had just happened, so there was nothing released on it, but it's just like, headline, 9-year-old girl shot 3 times. I'm just like, what?
So did she live? Because that headline doesn't say she bought it from.
She didn't die. No, she was fine. She got, I think, one hit her in the arm, one in the leg, and somewhere else or something. But
okay, so you can start a rap career like based on that cred.
Like pretty much, and get signed to Aftermath.
Yeah, that is
sorry to lighten that to the point of making fun of it, but she's okay, so it's okay.
That is not a good day to have, getting shot in the arm and the leg and somewhere else. And then living, Jesus.
It's May 14th now. It was weird. When I wanted to say it, it was the 13th, and now it isn't. Spoilers for the recording time. Oh wait, and I guess I'm also putting a time limit on your editing, posting. I'm used to that being a contingent. Like, you need to say what day it is, or else people won't know what episode they're listening to. Somehow.
Episode 120.
Oh, okay.
120 was last week. See? You're right. We don't know what episode we're on.
Well, I don't know. I just thought it was important. But you're right. News stories. We should open with serious gravity type stuff.
I didn't actually mean to open with that. I just thought it was an interesting thing to read in the middle of the week where it's just like, yeah, 9-year-old girl got shot. No other details are known. I'm just like, what?
Speaking of horrific crimes in New Jersey.
Okay.
I don't know. I watched a lot of Sopranos this week, dude.
Okay, go ahead. I'm going to go get a drink of water. Keep talking.
All right, I'm glad you're interested.
No, I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
Carlos, have you watched the show?
Sopranos?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen most of Sopranos. I missed the first couple seasons and like the last couple seasons. So I've got a good bit of it in its prime in my head still.
Like, I don't know what there's only 6, so he
saw season 3, or like the end of season 3, beginning of season 4.
I saw the middle episode of 3, and that's how I know about the whole show. I saw the season that ended. Sorry, say again.
Joe Pantoliano, was he in that stuff? You remember? Because he was kind of core to season 3.
Maybe.
Okay.
If you hum me a few bars that he sang, I might remember his character a bit better.
He's Ralphie. He beats up.
Yes, Ralphie.
And people get really upset with him over that. Mm-hmm. But then he eventually gets promoted to captain because another guy dies on the toilet. Anyway. Yeah.
Which season was the one where they they had that Russian mafia guy prisoner and he escaped and they shot him in the head and he still ran off? And
that was this season. That was
that season. Okay.
Aaron's episode, which Steve Buscemi directed. And yeah, that was kind of a standout in the season. Because I don't know, it like focuses on a very specific amount of time. Like, it's like, this is one horrible night that these dudes have to deal with, as opposed to just kind of jumping around, different stuff happening over a couple weeks. Like, it's kind of more focused. And yeah, that was a cool episode. And yeah, they try to bury a guy in the woods, and it goes really sideways really quickly.
Yeah.
And I'm assuming there's going to be fallout from that later, because like a car disappeared, and that dude wasn't ever accounted for, so... Maybe season 4 is Russian stuff. I don't know. I'm in the middle of it. This happened like 10 years ago, though. So I'm assuming everyone's fine with me saying what I just said. But, yeah, spoilers.
I am glad that you mentioned you didn't know what happened next, because I was about to spoil the whole damn thing.
Okay.
So, yeah, maybe
that starts a big turf war. And this, I don't know. I guess, yeah, don't say beyond season 3 vague recollections. In fact, let's just not talk about that show anymore.
Very well.
Mad Men season 5.
Are you fucking serious?
No.
Are you Okay.
Sorry, I accidentally meant season 7. 5 episodes have been aired thus far, and I watched all of them.
Okay, because I was gonna say, are you actually rewatching Mad Men now too?
I mean, I've already run out of episodes, so I was kind of considering it again, but I'll hold off. I like that show though, but it's kind of sad, you know? Like, people past their prime. They were, at the top of the world. Now they're not anymore.
Are there any 9-year-old girls getting shot?
That is a prerequisite for any show that I watch.
Yeah.
Any show?
That has to be in the first, 20 minutes of the first episode. Otherwise, nope.
It's just like, I'll give this a chance. Oh, it hasn't happened yet. Okay. Click. Over.
You'd be surprised how many times that happens in the first episode of Captain N, the Game Master.
What a weird callback. Okay.
Speaking of very specific kind of cataloging of shows by what happens in them, ultra specific. Screen.com.
Great segue, Nathan.
Screen.com, dude. I miss it so much. I don't know.
It's weird because when you said I miss Screened.com, an hour before you posted that, the little icon or whatever was still on my taskbar. On my favorites bar. So I clicked it to see what would happen, and it goes to Movie Phone.
It does, and that was...
So I promptly deleted it.
Yeah, it's Movie Phone.
So Movie Phone is basically BuzzFeed for movies, except it doesn't have people going to it.
I guess so. And it doesn't seem to have any of the old content that was on screen, so
It
I don't
doesn't have any of that. Screen is gone. Like, it is completely
like
dead.
erased from the internet. Like I was looking at it through the Wayback Machine and just kind of being like, "Oh, here's this hollow shell of what it used to be in 2012." And just kind of you can't watch anything or like get too deep in any of the content, and I don't know, like that's just kind of is annoying to me because that's like a pod like there was a podcast, there was a bunch of video content I would like watch and listen to. There was a bunch of pages I posted a bunch of stuff on, and it's all just kind of not available anymore in any readily accessible way. And it's just kind of like that's recent internet history, but because of changing hands, it's just gone.
You know what
Sort of
the
like
funny thing about what you're saying is? Is
yeah.
that the reason why, like, Pixel Response came back is because I would do the same thing as you, like, on the forums or on, like, these weird wiki site blogs and stuff like that I was a member of. I would post reviews of stuff.
Yeah.
And Pixel Response was a blog site I created in college for, like, we had, for one of the classes I had, we had to do a blog because it was like a media arts class in the art college I went to.
Mhm.
So we had to do one, and that's what it was originally. But it came back to life when I was just like, I want to keep these all in one place in case these sites go down. Lo and behold, this last 10 days has been hell for me because the site that was my backup ostensibly has gone down.
Like you put all your eggs in that basket, and now here we are. What happened exactly? Like, can you elaborate, or do you not want to?
I think I said it last time when fuck host papa.
Well, I know you said fuck host papa, but like I still have it on my like links bar, and it just goes to this like weird not website that says you should pay your bills or something. I don't. Here, let me see
Okay,
what's going on.
I'll quickly explain what happened. Is when you buy a
This domain is
domain,
expired.
when you
Anyway,
buy
yeah.
a domain, you're registering it through like a certain company or whatever. Now, the company that this domain was purchased through was HostPapa. However, they are just like vendor through
Mm-hmm.
Two Cows. So Two Cows actually gave them the rights to sell me the domain name. And
Oh,
when
okay.
I moved to our current host, HostGator, I was like, do a full transfer. They did. They took the domain name. They took everything. However, when the domain expired through HostPapa, it got lost because HostGator didn't technically own it because they got it from HostPapa, not through Two Cows, who was the original vendor to begin with.
Okay.
And since I couldn't do anything to claim it or anything like that, because when I left HostPapa, they like deleted my account. Like I no longer was a member there or whatever, right? Like I wasn't paying them, so why would I have an account there? So I
Mm.
couldn't get any support for them to help me out. And basically I emailed Two Cows and they're like, we can't help you, you got to talk to these people. I emailed HostGator and they're like, we can do this transfer for you, they just have to unlock it. And like I emailed HostPapa and absolutely fucking nothing. I
Oh,
haven't
like
gotten a
just no
single
reply
response
of any
back.
kind, not even like, haha, you gotta pay us money. It's
Nope,
just
nothing.
silence.
Yep.
I would imagine the host Papa in his pimp outfit saw your email and simply laughed it off as he had hose on his lap.
Yeah.
Host Papa. That guy's such a jerk.
Hose Papa.
Host Papa.
And yeah, a very quick
Hose Papa.
host Papa.
Terrible.
A very quick whiz shows that pixel-response.com is at with Two Cows. So if
It
Two
is.
Cows is saying it's not them, they're lying.
Well, the problem is it was locked to host Papa, so those motherfuckers need to push the button.
It's still, I can see it all here. It still has your admin info as the
Yep, it does.
as the admin and everything, and the
Yeah,
internet is so stupid.
if you look up the who is data, it's all there.
Man, if only someone would like legislate more about the internet and just kind of lock stuff down, make some rules.
Yeah,
That would just really help out.
Screw this whole freedom of the internet. Let's sell
Let's
all
make
of
some
our
hard rules.
hard
Guys.
rules about usage and just get everybody's identity up there, and
Yeah.
that way nobody will ever screw anybody.
With that, yeah, it can't be anonymous anymore. Just everybody knows.
Yeah.
It's like, guess who's going to those subreddits? This guy. Like, I don't know.
Before.
Yep. There's a comics one. There's like a spin-off. Anyway.
I was just gonna say it's 2014 and we still don't understand how the internet works. We are a stupid species.
It's been it's only like what 20 years or something. Like that's a big thing to adjust to. That's a lot to adjust to. Now it's in your pocket too. Like it's following you around wherever you go. It's a lot to deal with.
As long as this technological growth keeps going, and in 20 years I can take a spaceship off this rock so I can establish the internet on some other planet. And then fuck it up there too. Circle of life.
Yeah, you can't watch videos of people singing in space though because copyright. I don't know if you saw that story, but that kind of annoyed me. Like the Chris Hadfield, like David Bowie thing.
Oh, you're being serious.
Yeah, it was apparently like a 1-year deal, so it's no longer going to be on YouTube anymore, which just seems kind of like, oh, that's kind of weird. Like,
oh, good. Copyright laws in space.
Yeah, because it's like this applies to outer space too. David Bowie.
Space debris and copyright law. We are.
Thing is, I bet it's not even David Bowie. It's probably like his label or whoever like owns the rights to that song. Like, I don't know. It's just strange. I'm gonna see if it's still there, but I don't think it is.
Yeah, it makes signing up for Mars One sound not so bad, eh?
Is that like reality show type thing, or?
Yeah, the one that'll be on Mars.
Yeah.
With people on Mars who can never come back because, well, Mars.
It's kind of far away.
It's a little far. It's a tad far. But the internet latency is not as bad as you think. Only 15 minutes.
Okay.
Oh, okay. So it's basically like Twitch. Got it.
Yeah. Like if you enter up on Twitch Plays Pokemon, you'll get about the same response time on the surface of Mars.
Yeah.
That's so
it's funny because it's true. Anyways, yeah, Burning Barrel is our new site, so go there, people.
.co,
the Burning Barrel company.
Don't even need it.
Yeah, but yeah, the podcasts are there. It's a community site now too. I don't know if you saw that new thing. That actually just happened. 16 hours ago. What?
You threw forums back in it, or what? What do you mean?
Oh no, like.
Groups?
You can, like, when you sign in and log in and stuff, yeah, you can create groups, like, friend people. You have your own blogs and forums and everything.
Oh, okay.
There's a chat that sounds like MSN Messenger, the little bloom sound.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Is there an achievement system?
I have been looking into it, but no. And
now, no.
If it's hard to implement, no, because I've been getting about 2 hours of sleep every night for the last 9 days.
Oh, wait, do I need to, like, re-register for this now?
No, you don't.
Okay.
Yes, you've been locked out of your own website.
Oh, no. Like, I don't see, like, my list here under people.
But speaking of that, something went up on the website. This actually happened right after we recorded.
Mm-hmm.
Your TV appearance on the local television station finally went up on the internet.
For all I know, it's been up for like a month and a half, but I finally
don't think it has been.
Okay. All I know is like I checked again and then found it and went, oh, I should probably watch some of this. Watched the first part and went like, okay, I'm not like horribly ashamed of this. Let's link to it. And yeah, there you go.
You are a very humble guy. If I was on a local TV station, I would watch that shit 5 times before linking it up all over the internet.
Like just be like, yeah, that's that part where I said Grand Theft Auto 5 was actually pretty good.
I thought you did well.
Bold stance. Yeah. Thank you.
You were the only person of that panel that knew anything about video games, so there's that.
Well, probably.
It was kind of hard not to do well when everybody you were talking to had no idea what they were talking about.
Well, video games are like very popular. You know, everybody knows a little bit now, right? Right? Halo.
I was gonna say, like, Halo was the only thing that. Yeah, like I played that with my boyfriend. Oh, by the way, our community hates Shauna.
Oh,
so much because I think she cut you off once in that video.
In what context?
I don't know, but like I think she cut you off once, and my response to them on Twitter and stuff has basically been like, "Dude, if you don't cut him off, he won't stop." Like she had to.
Like, yeah, there's only like 20 minutes to go around between everybody. Like, don't get him started. So
she cut off Nathan. That slut.
I don't want like calling out where it's like happening.
people in the community call Nathan out on like everything and
Yeah.
like him, but they will defend him to the death. It's so weird. It's
Let's
just
like we don't really hate him apparently, so that's
No.
reassuring, I
you,
guess.
you have like a cult following. It's really weird. They just like are obsessed with anything. Look, you did a one-man show.
I did.
And there was a specific group from like our community and your community from TDP and stuff, and they were just all there, just like listening to you the whole time.
I was periodically looking in on the chat, and like there seemed to be some fighting going on, and I wasn't sure what it was about. But I was like,
somebody called another person a faggot.
yeah, I saw that being thrown around. I was like, I can't stop like going because this is live and it's going to be an hour. Like it's getting close to it's getting to that point. So I was just like, I'm just going to keep rolling. But I acknowledged like a couple things that the chat was saying, but not that, because that just seemed like I can't untangle this live while also expressing why Work Time Fun is great and trying to like riff on news stories and things with nobody else there.
I was a little angry with you.
For what? What did I do?
You did it at 4 p.m. What the fuck?
What's wrong with that?
You know how the internet is at work. I couldn't watch. I was in the chat, but I couldn't listen to you because we can't stream.
Oh, okay. I wanted to just kind of finish and have it uploaded and everything so I could kind of have an evening to go out for dinner and stuff. Like, it was just kind of a convenience thing.
You son of a bitch.
Yeah, I had a great time.
My day.
So, have you ever considered using your one-man show to try to take over the world?
I don't think that'll get much traction. Like, there was like 28 people there, so that's kind of cool, but that's not.
And they were all calling each other faggots the whole
Apparently,
time.
yeah, there's a lot of discord within that group already, so we're not a coherent army. I don't know.
Not yet.
It was fun though, I guess, but man, yeah, one person.
Little do people know that's what Burning Barrel Co. is. It's the Burning Barrel Company. It's a PMC. That's why it's a community site now.
Oh, okay. So we're just trying to like take an inventory of our forces and see what we can do.
Calling everybody on the internet a faggot, one person at a time.
So is that going to be a slogan at the Burning Barrel Con 2015?
Barrel Con?
Yeah, Barrel Con.
2015. Yeah, we're going to get that set up.
There will be no problems lighting up that burning barrel in the Calgary Convention Center, whatever the building is. I don't live there. I don't know.
It took me 9 nights to get the blog working. It's not going to take me a year to get a convention going. Oh, well. Yeah, but...
yeah. Burning barrel.
When I attend BarrelCon, is it acceptable for me to wear a barrel?
Like only if you want it burned.
I have a follow-up question.
Like the bottom punched out, yes. Oil drum.
Do I have to wear anything under the barrel?
You will be given complimentary barrels to wear.
Oh, at the door, you just pop a barrel like on. It's kind of like those fake traffic cones that the Plants vs. Zombies people do.
That's exactly right. Yeah, for everybody that's going to attend this convention, we're probably going to need like 4 barrels.
But that's what Notch thought with the cardboard heads.
And then 100 million people came.
Hundreds of people showed up and they were gone in like a second.
Is it all right if I come to BarrelCon dressed as Barrel Men?
Yes.
You are going to be our panelist talking about barrels, about how to make barrels.
Yeah, so I don't know why Paul had me as a barrel panelist. I know fuck all about barrels. I came dressed in one.
Wait, so this...
I saw a How's It Made episode about it once.
This barrel here is our mascot now. It's going to explode.
Oh, dude, I don't know. I literally Googled barrel, threw it on its side, Googled fire, and then threw fire on it.
Oh, I thought this was like a source screenshot or something.
It's no, that is complete. Just like I Googled this, and it is a placeholder until I have time to maybe like work something up sometime.
Okay, make sure to put some bullet holes in the barrel because that better reflects my experiences growing up.
See, Jesus. And like I was saying to you at work, is that like it could be a gun barrel too?
Oh yeah, you're right.
Where the hell did you grow up? That you were shielding yourself from bullets.
Airdrie, Alberta.
No, see, you shoot holes through the barrel so that the fire gets more air. It's our pro tip.
Nathan, do you remember where this originated? The whole
What?
barrel line? It's because we on one of the podcasts a long time ago, we said something about talking how like doing a podcast was basically just like talking at a burning barrel, like fire or something.
Rose Alley or something?
Yeah, exactly. We were talking about something like that. I think it was even called like Barrel Cast or something, or like Burning Barrel Mondays, because that's what an iTunes review we got from Mario 64 Mario from last year said.
Was like citing that episode specifically?
Well, it said something along the lines of like, follow this if you want to like hear about blah 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 and participate in Burning Barrel Mondays or something. So he was the one that suggested the name to begin with. So it's an old reference to something I forgot a long time ago, but I like the sound of it. So
perfect callback.
Alliteration. I knew you would like the alliteration. So
yeah, no, that definitely helped.
At Barrel
child memories.
At BarrelCon, you need to have sledgehammers hanging from the roof on fish wire so that people can jump up and then start swinging the sledgehammers indiscriminately and destroying barrels rolled at them. I don't foresee any problems with this.
See, I'm just getting this idea where this convention is actually just in like a junior high or like elementary school gymnasium, and there's just like 3 people dressed up in barrels running around hammers. That's what the convention is.
Yeah.
And then you've got all the cool kids all smoking outside being like, do you see that fucking barrel convention in there? The fuck's all that about?
The 6th graders, just like in the smoke pit at the elementary school.
Like, we could just do a giant panel that fills the whole time. I mean, if I can do an hour with no prompts by myself, like, boom.
You had prompts, though. You had news things to talk about.
Even. That was all freestyle, and you're right.
Yeah, that wasn't even news. I just made it all up.
I was just, like, yeah, did that stuff actually happen? Because that was just kind of flowing through me. I don't even know.
You know what? Probably not. I still have to listen to most of it. Because, like I said, since I was at work, I couldn't actually hear you. I could just like participate in the chat, and then people were getting uppity.
I guess that's weird to me that you could even do that. Like, YouTube is okay at work?
We'll talk after.
Okay. There's ways. Speaking of watching stuff, I don't know. I've been like kicking off all the, Mad Men, Sopranos, Barrels. What have you guys been doing in the past fortnight?
I'm going to throw this over to Carlos.
Oh, okay.
I've been editing podcasts and editing anime raves, which are getting way more views than the podcast, which is making me very angry.
Yeah, we were talking about that a little bit. Just like doing something you kind of don't want to do, but that's the thing that like gets people listening.
That's the bait.
Yeah, it's the moment anime's involved, people flock, and it ideologically, I'm very angry at myself for participating, but my ego wants all the attention, so I am really caught between ideals and reality, I guess. I haven't watched a lot of TV, and my list keeps growing. Mad Men is on my list. I haven't seen it yet, but to give you an idea, so are Dexter and Breaking Bad, which I have not seen a single episode of either yet.
Oh man, sorry for spoiling that ending for you.
No. Spoiled endings don't ruin it for me. I still want to see how they got there, right? So it's not a deal for me. Plus, it's been out forever. It's my own fault for not having watched it yet, right? Playing video games, pricing out components to build a new computer, working, sleeping. This is the most boring sum up. Paul, wait.
I guess I have a question specifically about the editing part. Like, do you put something on in the background when you're doing some editing?
If I'm editing like voice, I don't put anything on because I kind of want to hear.
Okay, maybe I'm shitty at editing, but I always have like some dumb trivial thing in the background.
When something's rendering or exporting.
Pause it. Yeah, sure. I guess it's like I'm gonna compress this now or like put this kind of effect on it. Okay, that's gonna take a few minutes. Press play, watch Donnie.
Well, yeah, because when you do a 4.5-hour podcast with your co-host. That takes about an hour to like go through the algorithms and like render properly.
Yeah, so. that went a little long, but stuff to say. And also the voicemail thing. Are we doing that again or never again?
I don't know. We only have 3 voice. we only have 3 voicemails this week, and it's because I lost some of it because the voicemails used to go to my like personal, like my name at pixel-response.com, so they got lost in the ether, and that's why I don't know if I even got in E3 because my invite would have been lost in there. And the plus side is I don't get any more of these stupid PR releases for indie games, so that's kind of nice to not have my inbox full of like 20 every time I wake up.
Oh, because the Pixel Response email is the one they have.
It's the one they have, yeah, and had. The one I had that they would send stuff to. And, like, there's so many PR releases for games that I don't care about. So many.
Yeah.
You get a lot of PR releases for indie games?
Yeah, I would get it. Every time I would wake up in the morning on a Monday, I would have at least 15 to go through.
15?
It was stupid.
It was like maybe 3 a week or something.
But when I'm talking about indie games, I'm talking about not just like this new hot thing on Steam. I'm talking about like this is an iOS port onto Steam now. Do you want to look at it? It's like, no, because I didn't care about it when it was a mobile game. Why am I going to sit down at my computer and play it?
That's been happening a lot lately, though. Mobile
Yes,
yeah.
It has. Holy shit, I can tell you some stories.
Well, I guess...
Would you like to feature our newest demo of Touch the Boob on your website?
I don't think they let that happen anymore on iOS.
There hasn't been that. There was a while there where I was just getting updates on like shooter DLCs. It's just like, you love Modern Warfare, now look at the DLC. Do you want to feature this? It's like, no. It's DLC. I don't care.
Yeah.
There is one thing that came out of it, though. That's where I talked to the dudes who made the last Tinker, City of Colors.
Oh, yeah.
So I've been playing that.
No, I guess, yeah, that would work out every now and then where it's just like, hey, does anyone want a code? Like, I'll see that in the email, and then I'll be like,
that has literally happened where it worked out twice in my favor for the last 8 months.
Well, yeah.
So
good with the bad. But okay, City of Color.
Yeah, so by Mimimi Productions, a company, like an indie studio in Germany, I think, maybe Frankfurt specifically.
Wow, this is a pretty looking game. I'm just looking it up as you've talked about it.
Okay, so have either of you watched Pee-wee's Playhouse?
Oh my lord, so many times.
Okay, you know the claymation parts where like things go weird and it's like Claymation Land or something.
Saying things go weird, it doesn't narrow it down in that show, but I do know what you're talking about.
So this whole game looks like something out of those claymation parts. It looks like claymation type animation, and it is beautiful in HD because there is just this huge world of different... I mean, it's called City of Colors. There's this huge world of just different, like, weird designs and colors and weird creatures like you would see in maybe, like, an Animal Crossing or, like, a Viva Pinata, a very big Viva Pinata vibe. And it's, like, an adventure platformer, the old style, what they used to do, where it's just, like...
collect all the stuff?
Not collect all the stuff necessarily. There is some of the, like, collect-a-thon stuff to upgrade your move sets and stuff, because there's a pretty... I thought when I did the preview... like a couple months ago, a pretty basic sort of like fighting mechanic in the game that played a lot like Batman, like the Arkham games.
Okay,
sort
so
of.
a little, like I was going to say, platforming, fighting, like is it as rudimentary as Mario can punch for no reason in Mario 64, or it sounds like it's already more out than that?
It's more than that. Like, not only that, but there are combos that you can buy later on and stuff to make your attacks better. So...
It's kind of a Ratchet and Clank kind of balance then?
Sure, yeah.
There's a lot of combat there. Wrench.
Yeah, there's enough combat in this. The basic idea is that you're what is known... You play as a Tinker or whatever, and the Tinker in this world, there's different colors of people. There's like the red people, the green, and like the blue. I'm going to say people for lack...
racism? Like,
those goddamn blueies always ruining my day.
Yeah.
Being out. Yeah.
All these reds. Well, that's actually...
all these damn reds. What do you call it? Dead red in the... Oh, no. Stop. Stop it. Stop it, Carlos.
So, is it somehow, like, going for that kind of thing? Like, you got to harmonize the different people, the colors. You got to get them all together. Get them on the same page.
Kind of. Because each color is... Like, they have their pros and cons sort of thing. Like, the red are very fiery, but that also means that they can be like feisty and fight with the other colors. The blues or the greens are curious, but also shy or something like that. And the blue people are sad, but like,
Oh, so it's like emotional tones kind of thing.
yeah, emotional tone sort of thing. But what
Okay.
happens is that this purple color soul or whatever at one point in the beginning of the game after the tutorial just kind of like tricks you into letting him be able to make everything bleak and bland. So everything that was colorful turns white. And like people are frozen and stuff. So as the last tinker, you have the power to actually like bring color back into this land sort of thing and fight.
It's like Okami.
Because like if the colored people touch the white or whatever, they turn white sort of thing. Like they just die or turn into statues or whatever they do. So you're the only one that can actually like fight the colors.
That's kind of weird to me. Like I guess I would have thought it's just everyone gets really depressed. And it's just like a Pleasantville thing, and you're just like,
no, they just straight up like
this.
die basically.
I find it rather allegorical that when the colored people touch the whites, the colored people just get fucked.
There you go. See,
It's kind of true.
A lot of symbology.
Symbology.
Is it fun to play? Like,
you know what? It is. It's fun to play on a rudimentary level that, like, if you had a kid, you could play with your kid and just be like, this is fun, but I can pass a controller over, and it's basic enough where they'd be able to do some neat stuff in this game and continue. But if you are playing, like, as an adult who's been playing video games for a while, you'd be able to pull off some neater things. There's enough layers there where it's simple enough that you could pick it up and play, but you could master it too.
Mm-hmm.
And I think just the most important thing, though, is like I said, all these stupid PR releases about shit you don't care about. And then all of a sudden you see this, hey, do you want to like look at our game sort of thing? And the first thing, it's a full release. Like it's $20 on Steam as of this recording right now. It came out on the 12th.
Yeah.
It's absolutely gorgeous. It runs at a full 60 frames per second with no hiccups or anything, full controller support. In fact, I think one of the problems is you need a controller. You might not. I can't remember. But it's
like it's done. It's not early access. It's not
nice
pay to
that an
upgrade.
indie game. It's nice to see an indie game where production value was put in.
It's in Unity?
It is in Unity, yes.
Okay, yeah. I saw the trailer, but
it's a very beautiful game for being in Unity. And I noticed that it seems to have rail grinding, and that makes every game better as far as I'm concerned.
It has a like movement in the way that Assassin's Creed did, where like you'll hold a button and you'll do like little weird fast platforming and then jump, like grab onto a rail and like swing across a bunch of like monkey bar type things and then onto a little bunch of platforms to go around in this lake or something.
Sure.
And then just like go onto a rail and grind it like you would Sonic style.
Does it kind of automate a lot of that stuff, or you?
No, you have to hold it, and then there's some parts where like there will be a bunch of posts, say like in the water, right?
Yeah.
And since this is all color based, if you fall in the water, you die, sort of thing, because your color's gone.
Gets yeah.
Sure.
Okay.
And like just because video games, but like then there'll be branching paths, or like there'll be things you can jump on that might go in and out of the water.
Mm-hmm.
So like it's not just like push a button and get to the other side. It's like, no, I still have to be paying attention to what I'm trying to jump onto or reach with this, which is good. Because then, like I said, there is that where it's simple enough where the kid knows all you have to do is hold this trigger button and then move around. But then at the same time, like you can't just keep going, otherwise you're going to die. Like you're going to fall into the water a bunch of times or something like that. And like I said, the combat system is very much reminiscent of like the Arkham games, the Batman Arkham games, where there'll be
a bunch of different opponents.
Juggling a bunch of different opponents and like dodging out of the way, doing combos and that sort of stuff. And I actually found it kind of difficult in some spots. Now, the big problem I do have with the combat is that even though they're going for the Arkham style, there's very subtle things that the Batman games do that make that combat style make you feel like a badass and make it easy for you.
Yeah.
And that's the very specific thing I realize what that is that when you're doing big hits in those games, there's a like slight like slowdown that only takes maybe about half a second to maybe a full second or something when you're
Yeah.
doing each hit.
Like a little
So
slow-mo flourish.
There's
each hit,
actually a fighting game term for that. That's hit stop.
hit
Because all
stop.
all fighting games have that basically.
Okay, so like when you're doing that in Batman, first of all, it gives you enough time so your brain can register like who the next opponent you have to move towards is or away from.
Yeah.
And more importantly, maybe for me, as just somebody who likes to have fun, it makes it feel like when Batman hits someone, he's fucking knocking them out, right? Because there's just like a slowdown and then they're on the ground.
Sure, sure.
He hit them so hard. This game does not have that, I don't think. And
the
if it
slow-mo
does,
stuff, like the situational awareness gaining.
it's not
pause.
just enough where it feels good in that respect. Like the combat feels fine, but it doesn't feel like it has a whole lot of weight to it in most situations. But more importantly, when you get swarmed by a bunch of things, you don't have that time to make that split-second decision onto where to go next. And I think that's kind of a failure on their part.
So it gets a little frantic in a way that's just kind of panicky. It's not.
And it seems like something they could fix, like just
Big
go into the
charge.
code and change it from like 0.02 to 0.03 or 4 or something for time delay.
Does
I don't-
the
Like the
Does the
hit
game
animation. Oh, sorry.
no
Yeah, sorry, you two stepped over each other. I didn't get either of those.
yeah, go ahead, Nathan.
Oh no, it was just kind of like, do you think it would really be that easy to just kind of like tweak how long an animation takes to play out or something? Like, how would you just make slow-mo happen?
I honestly don't know. Like,
But
not slow-mo necessarily, but just tweaking it so that when there's input or like something is about to happen, maybe there's a little bit of a delay there.
Okay. Sorry, that was kind of it, yeah.
You could also have that effect just from doing keyframes where you kind of pause on that frame, quote unquote, because it's not a 2D game, where you like your hit registers so that, the viewer kind of sees the hit registering. It's been on screen for a certain amount of time, so it has that weight. But what I was going to ask, though, is does the game have a counter button? Does it have the so-called Batman button that really makes you feel like you're Batman and you can fight like 7 guys with no problem at all?
You know what? It probably does. I actually only got to the halfway through the second like main world or whatever. So I played probably about 3 to 4 hours of it. And there's different combo things like fighting things you unlock at like the dojo or whatever. So there very, very likely is. But
Like the
I don't
little
think I got it.
alert over the dude's head that's about to punch
There
you.
is an
Press
alert.
Y?
Yes.
Okay.
But not press Y. Not yet.
Oh, okay.
It just
There's no
shows
just,
like who to
one
get
button
away from.
counter. Gotcha.
Not that I could see yet. There might be.
Hmm.
So I don't know if it's fair to like say no there isn't, and then it's like yeah there is. You just have to get through that last part you're in.
Is there a lot of kind of voice acting or cutscene type stuff?
There
or
is
it
absolutely no voice acting. It's Simlish sort of thing where they're like blah 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 blah, blah which
like
is annoying.
Banjo?
It's
Oh,
annoying,
okay.
but there is the options. Hey, an indie game with options. Go figure. There's an option where you can just turn like dialogue volume down, and I usually do that because I don't want to hear the blah 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 blah. It's just annoying to me.
Okay.
That's the Star Fox SNES dialogue.
Blah, 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 blah. Yeah.
Does this game, I was originally going to ask as a joke, and then I remembered I actually know people who are colorblind. Does this game have a colorblind mode?
I think it does. Yes.
Okay.
In fact, I am 95% sure it does.
Because I see a lot of reds and greens, and I'm like, oh man, that
Right.
is yeah, that would be a nightmare to play if you were colorblind.
Yeah.
But they just texture them then or something, you'd think, or use
No,
different
I think they would
colors?
just alter the color.
Okay. Gotcha.
But yeah, I'm pretty sure there is. I've been very impressed with it, and I've been kind of impressed that the internet hasn't just like grabbed onto it like it does with normal indie games. And I think I realized in my cynical nature that it's because it's not a 2D pixel platformer.
Well, but aren't people tired of those? Like, I see people complaining about that more than being like, "All right, yeah,
Yeah,
this is
but
awesome."
complaining like about something on Reddit like that or something, it's still giving it publicity. This is getting very little publicity for how well polished it. This deserves to get more publicity than something like Bound by Flame is getting. And I can talk about that a little bit if you want in a little bit.
Well,
because-
or you could transition right into it because I have no idea what that is.
I don't want to really talk about it yet because I just want to say that like if people looked at this game at like a trailer or something or some screenshots, I think they would fall in love with it, and it kind of holds that the whole time I've been playing. I will say there hasn't been a whole lot of motivation for me to play it though lately, and I don't know why. Because
it's like if there's no real story that's kind of driving the thing, or
there is a story, but it's not captivating me. It's one of those stories that like if I was a bit younger or something, or just had time to waste like after school, I think it would be more than enough to just grab me.
Okay.
But there isn't enough there. Maybe it's because I'm a bit older now, and these type of games were games that came out when like 3Ds started to become a thing, and like we're used to this type of game style.
Yeah.
Whereas like the younger generation might not be used to seeing more of these type of games come out. The like I don't know what they're even called, just like the 3D platformy type adventure games.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know
what is the kind of structure of it? Like, is it there's a central hub and you go off into different worlds? Or
That's
is
right.
It like,
yep.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well,
It sounds to me like the game's kind of a mix between a Mario 64 and like an Arkham, because in a lot of ways the Arkham games are kind of Metroidy themselves too.
Like
sure.
backtracking and getting new powers and abilities.
Yep. And
sure.
Going through maps and going back to doors that were locked before, and
this is very much more linear though. This is much more linear.
Like a sequence of worlds that you need to visit in that order kind of thing.
Like, you can't get into the green world until you learned this thing from the red world to let you break through the, like, crystals that are covering.
Well, that's almost like there's just pure gating in, like, the Banjo games and stuff. It's just like, you don't have enough jiggies. You can't go here.
This game is very much... This game feels very much like a Banjo game.
Okay.
And I never was a huge fan of the Banjo games. Except for Nuts and Bolts, because I like creating my own vehicles. Fucking sue me. But anyways, it's that type of game style. The 3D, like, adventure, platformer type thing.
Okay.
Yeah, but I emailed it to myself so I could check it out after.
That art style, man. And, like, $20. That's not bad.
It looks a lot more expensive than $20 for sure.
It really does. Like, to be honest, when I emailed them back, they're like, yeah, I was like, I would stream this if you let me or whatever. They're like, yeah, go ahead. Here's a key for a preview build. And like, I think it's even up on my YouTube channel where I just kind of throw random stream things and highlights and whatnot. But I was just like, okay, let's take a look at this. I was just like, holy shit. And I think the first like 5 minutes is just basically me being like, this is really nice to like preview an indie game that isn't balls.
And
like
so many of them are, man.
That runs, because another one that I was asked to preview about probably a year ago now, it just didn't load. It like crashed every time I tried to play it, so I told them to go fuck themselves. And now it's like a game that people have been talking about. And I'm not going to mention the name here because that's weird. I'll tell you after.
Dude, you could call those motherfuckers. Call them out. Start beef with the indies.
But the thing, why would I call them out? Because it's not necessarily their fault that their beta build or alpha
that their code didn't compile.
Yeah, because the reason people like it now is because it's working perfectly fine after it's been released. And
I guess, yeah. Sorry, yeah. It's like,
there's
early versions. Yeah, never mind.
Which build should we send them? How about the one that doesn't fucking load? Yeah, that sounds smart. Send them the one that doesn't fucking load. It blows fucking mind.
Okay, I guess, yeah, if that's the nature of the disliking the game, is it just didn't work. Like, that's different than, I don't know, what I was saying, which is just mediocre quality stuff.
Yeah. But, anyway, so that was... I feel bad because I was going to do a review of some sort of that game, but like I said, I spent most of this week just tinkering myself with that website.
Right, that did kind of mess up the whole flow of things.
Yeah. It's just like, last tinker, you ain't got nothing on me. I've been tinkering all fucking night.
Like, I need a website to put this review on eventually, so...
Well, there is. It's called YouTube or Twitter or like anything. But
yeah.
I want
Yeah,
my own place to put it. It was a selfish thing. And I kind of feel bad about it, but I'm sure somebody gave me this idea, input lag, just reviewing games that you missed sort of thing. Not retro, because that's like retro kill screen, but like input lag. That could
Right,
just be
like
like the
I could
series.
review Asura's Wrath now in 2014 and
Yeah.
whatever. Like,
I've been playing Dragon's Dogma lately, and I kind of wish I played it when it came out. That would be
Wait, have
perfect
you?
for input
I want
lag.
to
Yeah.
hear about it. Talk about it now.
Oh, yeah, sure. Okay, geez. So it was one of the PSN 3 free games, and I kind of avoided it because it looked like Skyrim, and I have this
but
theory about.
Japan.
Yeah, it kind of looked like Japanese Skyrim. Now, um, I'm not sure if you guys are big fans of Bethesda games. I am not. They are terrible. So I kind of avoided it when it came out, and then when I finally sat down and played this, because I kind of wanted to tackle at least one thing in my giant backlog, I was like, geez, man, why aren't all like kind of Skyrim-y RPGs like this? Because one thing Capcom actually paid attention to was the combat system, and that's where this game shines. It like you can be a thief and just do like zigzaggy double dagger combos where you just dance around guys while cutting them, or you can be the warrior and smack your shield to taunt guys so that your allies can strike them, and it all moves very fluidly, and you can do shit like grab onto big enemies and just start slashing them in the legs with your blade so that your allies can attack them. And sometimes your allies will grab onto guys and be like, I've got him, hit him. It's just very involved when the combat happens. And that's kind of its big failing, is that there are some long stretches of game where you're not fighting anything. But when you do start fighting stuff, and when you fight bosses, especially, it is so good. And then like the combat isn't janky. It's not like Skyrim, or it's not like an Elder Scrolls game where you kind of swing your sword at a guy and it's a big crapshoot whether or not like it'll hit, right?
I
Hmm.
guess I was an archer in most of my Elder Scrollsing time, so that had decent feedback. It was just like I aimed at the guy and I shot him with an arrow and he's dead. I did it. But yeah, no, fair enough. The straight melee combat in Oblivion especially was really clunky. So yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I kind of like any combat system that's um more like if it's more like Double Dragon, I tend to gravitate more towards it. It might not be realistic for the setting, but I kind of want a combo system where I air juggle a guy, even if you don't think this very medieval Europe looking RPG character should be air juggling anything.
Yeah. Like I played a little bit of the original release of Dragon's Dogma, and it that seemed to be kind of the one thing it was doing very differently was the kind of more character action game style
Hmm.
combat, and also like just enough kind of I'm climbing on a giant thing. Oh, like Shadow of the Colossus. I like that.
Yeah,
So that
yeah,
kind
but
of thing.
you kind of have to manage it too in Dragon's Dogma because you have that stamina bar, and you
Yeah.
can't just stay clinging on a guy. You have to if your stamina is about to run out, you have to let go and you have to maybe rethink how you're approaching this fight. And I really like that too, because in Shadow of the Colossus, or a game like the Lords of Shadow games, a
Hmm.
lot of shadows in these games. Jeez, uh,
Shadows.
you those fights against the Titans or the Colossi are very scripted, and they don't feel that way in Dragon's Dogma. They feel like kind of
Chaos.
yeah, they kind of feel like this is a natural extension of the engine that I could grab this guy or not and tackle the fight as I see fit.
Hmm. I guess yeah. I was kind of looking at that as maybe a replacement for the Monster Hunter itch, right? Like I never developed that itch, but like I like the idea of fighting big monsters. However, I don't want to play with people ever. Like I don't want to do that. That sounds terrible.
That's
So
why I play console Diablo 3. I
yeah.
repurpose it to my solo needs.
So single player Dragon's Dogma is that, right? There's no multiplayer nonsense. You just have your pawns, like
Yeah,
these
yeah,
soulless dudes.
the pawns are the multiplayer component. You shortly into the game, you get to create your own pawn using the same character building system as your main character, and I'm not sure how it interfaces with other people. and I'm obviously playing this game very late in its lifespan, so I'm not even sure how many people are on. But when you go get pawns from the ether, they are other people's pawns, and apparently if your pawn goes and does well by some other player, they will bring you back a reward. And
Yay.
yeah, so that's kind of the extent of the multiplayer. You can't invade someone's world or anything. Which is not a shot at any game that does allow that. It's just that's kind of not what this game is about. It's a single player RPG with this cool little multiplayer component that'll sometimes get you an item you might want. Although my pawn brought me back a rotted banana one time, and I kind of wanted to kill my pawn, but it doesn't allow you to target them.
No, I don't
Very
think that's
sad.
the pawn's fault. I think the other player determines what to send, so they're just being dicks.
Plus, I guess that's what I get for putting my faith in something that is straight on called a pawn.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kind of.
They don't have a lot of autonomous thought and such. Like, yeah, it's weird. But I'm told the story gets crazy in like the last quarter. Like, there's like nothing for most of it. Like, I know a dragon steals your heart or something.
Yeah, it was a
Right?
pretty badass scene too. Like, yeah, it's a ripoff of Dragonheart, but
That's
it
a great
does not
movie.
happen.
More people should rip that movie off. 'cause-
Yeah, it's a great movie, but it happens in a way more badass way than in Dragonheart.
Fair enough.
that
It's not like
dragon
I'm
straight
dying, I need help. And it's like, all right, well, here's some stuff. We're gonna share hearts with David Thewlis. Goes wrong.
I would rip my own heart out of my chest if it meant. Where the hell am I going with that?
Saving
sentence?
David Thewlis. Like,
Yes, saving David, whatever his name is.
character actors from what? Anyway, he was a Defense Against the Dark Arts teacher, dude.
I've sorry.
No, it's fine. Mike Lee
Uh,
films, right? Woo!
I've also read that Dragon's Dogma gets just batshit insane near the end. I'm not sure how it gets batshit insane, but I kind of like my fantasy games to have big swerves near the end. So I'm hoping, and I don't know this, I haven't read anything. I'm hoping that the dragons are aliens.
Okay.
I think it has something to do with gods,
Okay.
and like
The
you
Elder
become
Gods?
one
Oh.
or
I'm
something.
totally okay with that. When I was playing Wonder Boy and Monster World on the Genesis, and I beat what I thought was the last boss, and then it turned out it was aliens, and I'm raiding their spaceship with my
Yeah.
sword and my shield shield. I'm like, wow, this took a swerve, didn't it? I'm literally fighting machine guns right now.
I wonder how effective an ass shield would be.
Ass shield,
Yeah.
like made of someone's ass.
Yeah, just like someone's ass, and you're holding it like across one arm, shielding yourself from something.
Oh, I thought you meant like just some thick pants, like a shield for your ass.
Okay,
No, That's
I-
ridiculous, Nathan. Jesus.
Just tie a shield around your waist. Like, why not? You know.
So have I mugged the person, just knocked him out, taken off his clothes, wrapped him around my arm, and using his ass as a shield, just ass out?
You know
It's
what? If you
machine
want to
gun
go
fire.
with like the PG-13 version, sure. I was
Yeah.
thinking you like sliced his backside off.
And that's
Hmm.
all you're using for no reason. Other than just...
No, because you're
Alarming
fighting
to-
aliens. Jesus, keep up with the conversation.
No, I know, but like, is that a psychological component? Like, people are just like, "What the
Yeah.
fuck are you doing?" And it's just like,
That
Yeah.
that human
just-
is using the other human's interior.
like I guess in South Park Stick of Truth style, it's like gross damage for doing that.
Yeah,
Like,
it would be
grosses out the other characters.
Well, poison
Like,
damage,
you-
but yeah, sure.
no, but they barf, dude, in that game. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Poison can make you bark.
Also, aliens
Bark.
are in that, too, so I don't know. That's why I was thinking about it.
In
There's
South
aliens
Park,
in
I
everything.
Expect it though.
Yeah.
The very first episode of South Park was aliens, and that kind of established that anything could happen in South Park.
Mm-hmm. I guess
I liked
fair.
that.
That was fun to see, though.
Yeah, it was. I
Mecha
really liked
Streisand.
that game.
She wasn't in that, but you know,
Yeah.
watching old episodes. I
work.
watched one like you left some episodes with me, and it was like spooky vision, and it was just Barbara Streisand's face on screen for.
Well,
no
it was
reason.
Spooky Fish. Yeah, it was a Halloween episode for that year.
Right, but like it's not like Barbara Streisand factors into that episode again. It's just hey, spooky vision. We got like
Yeah.
4 different pictures of her
Yeah,
And-
because then you have to see her the whole time, so you're
the
scared.
whole time, the whole episode. I guess.
I remember one of those Spooky Vision episodes. The episode just opens with Space Station Mirror just falling right on Kenny. That's just how the episode opens, and I was like,
That
man,
was
this show's so
episode
good.
Pink Eye, is
Yeah,
what
that was
that
the Pink
episode's
Eye
called.
one.
Yep. That was the first episode of South Park I ever saw.
Whoa.
That's a good
Yeah.
entry point into the series.
That's what made me want to keep watching more, because I think it was where Stan comes dressed up as Raggedy Ann, and then Kyle calls him a pansy. I was like, wait, cartoons can say this? I'm in.
That was a different episode, I think. Wasn't that the one with Korn?
Nope. No, the one with Korn was Korn's Groovy Pirate Mystery.
Okay, yeah.
And
No, you're right. Raggedy Ann Andy was the same one as
it was, because there was a costume
yeah.
contest, and Stan was mad at Wendy because she came dressed as Chewbacca like everybody else.
Right. And the reason I mixed it up is because she also dressed as Chewbacca in the Korn episode.
And
which
she won.
beat out
Yep.
Kenny's awesome ATST.
Yep, that's right. I've seen a lot of South Park.
Was it really corn or no?
Yeah, it was the band Korn, and they treated him like Scooby Doo.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
they were like, "Hey, gang, let's solve the mystery in this town."
But like, did
What
they
was
get
with
the actual
Niblet,
voices in
though?
that one, or-
Well, they needed a Scooby Doo like mascot.
But it was like a little bird that just kept eating chips.
Well, Scooby
Yeah,
Snacks,
Yeah,
maybe.
Korn.
He didn't
look,
do anything, though.
I don't know if you've ever been to a Korn concert.
Wait, does
but I've
Scooby
met
really
Niblets.
do a lot in the average mystery? Like, he
He's-
just freaks out at some point.
Okay,
Yeah.
you're right.
Like,
I've
he's
always
not
thought-
actually solving the mystery, except maybe
No, you're right. It's
accidentally by
Fred.
bumping into somebody, and then
It's always
their
been Fred.
ghost outfit falls
That's
off.
all
It's
the
always
mystery.
been Fred. That's a secret of Scooby Doo. Yeah, it's such nonsense. They named that show Scooby Doo, and I'm thinking to myself, he's a fucking dog
Like, he's just the
And
dog.
a stoner.
and a stoner. He's a stoner dog, the worst kind of dog.
Do those movies that James Gunn wrote, like, kind of wink and nod at that kind of stuff, or are they pretty straight-laced kids movies?
The live action Scooby Doos.
Yeah, yeah.
Well,
Like, I know there's a body
way.
swap moment that's a little much for, like, 4-year-olds, but
I saw the first one. The only detail I remember is that Scrappy Doo was the villain in the end.
what? Okay.
Yeah, it was really complicated and not at all. They tried to play it very corporatized Scooby-Doo, so it was very Hollywood Scooby-Doo. Like, some producer came in and said, no, this is how we're going to do Scooby-Doo. He's got to fight a giant spider, that kind of movie, right?
Amazing. Yeah.
So a lot of meddling seems to have happened.
Now, what I heard, and I could be totally wrong here, but I heard that the original script for the theatrical Scooby-Doo was supposed to be huge satire of the show, and they were supposed to include little winky naughty elements like what's her face, the cute girl with the glasses, Thelma.
Daphne?
She was
Oh,
supposed to
Thelma.
be,
Yeah.
she was supposed to be always eyeing Daphne, and she was supposed to have a not so hidden crush on Daphne, like
Okay.
playing up to the fact that everyone always alluded to Thelma being, or Velma rather, to her being a lesbian, and little in jokes like that, like you would see in Scooby-Doo Mr. Inc., the cartoon that ended recently, where they really were self-aware about themselves.
Okay.
But that it's Hollywood. Producers get their hands on the movie, and producers need to do something to justify getting paid money, so they end up ruining everything.
Just no fun for anyone.
No
That's how
fun
they
for
do it.
anyone. Like, I don't know if you ever heard there are these guys who wrote this book. It's How We Became Millionaire Screenwriters, something to that effect. And they talked about how they were writing the Herbie movie, and how the one executive lady wanted them to have Herbie smile at the end of the movie. The fucking car. They wanted
Yeah.
the fucking car's like fender to just warp upwards into a smile at the end of the movie, which it hadn't done at that point until the script.
Yeah.
And that she was like really fighting for this freaking smile to happen.
Like, it'll be adorable somehow. What? Like,
Yeah.
who goes to bat for such a dumb idea?
And that's kind of my mortal fear. I am going to make it into Hollywood one day, and I'm going to present a script, and some producer's going to be like, "This is awesome, Carlos, but you need to make everybody a monkey."
Wait, what? Well, the fourth Planet of the Apes reboot did incredible business. It broke $1 billion for the first time. we got to put more monkeys and stuff. Kids like monkeys.
Now
Figure it out.
I will make everybody a monkey, and I will make it awesome. But secretly, I will be committing seppuku every night that I
Yeah.
do this. Every
Yeah,
night.
Bankruptcy.
it's like Nathan playing Pokemon.
Yeah, if I ever eventually do, it won't be because I wanted to. It's just to get people off my back.
Like,
Monkeys.
People listening to this right now, how does it feel that you push somebody so far to play Pokemon that they're gonna hate the game you love because you couldn't let it go?
Unless, I don't know, maybe it was just wow, you know what? I was wrong. There's so much more to this than I ever conceived
There
of.
isn't. It's the same game every time. You're not wrong.
But,
you didn't miss
I
anything.
liked collecting personas, the weird creatures in that game. So maybe that loot lust type element will get me, but I don't know.
There is a monster in Persona that is literally just a penis with limbs. There is
there's
Pokemon.
crazy cool H.R. Geiger type stuff. Speaking of which,
pour one out. He's
pour one
dead.
out. We need to kind of acknowledge that, I guess. Dude that designed weird kind of phallic creatures for decades.
And Jonathan Davis of Korn's mic stand.
Yep. That was pointed out to me. I've read that on an IMDb trivia page, but I mean,
dude, I had an action figure of Jonathan Davis with that mic stand.
Okay. What's it look like? What makes it so creaturey looking or creepy?
It is basically a naked woman.
Okay.
And the head is like an alien, and that's where the mic comes out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is the mic part of it then?
I don't know if it's... I think it would be really, really weird if it was part of it. Because then, if a mic craps out, you're fucked.
Right.
So probably
oh no,
not.
my art piece is broken.
I'm pretty sure it's just a stand.
So this thing had a mic sticking out of its head?
Yes.
Did it have trumpets for legs?
Was this secretly H.R. Geiger's pitch for a Mega Man villain?
For Sound Woman?
Yeah.
Well, all I know is that it would be a huge tragedy if Capcom didn't make Mega Man 11 now.
Mm-hmm.
With Sound Woman, that's even the better idea, because then you could have speaker tits.
Boom. There you go. That.
Boom is right.
Put it at teen, maybe, but that's okay. That's okay. Get a little too saucy with it.
Sorry, I was just thinking about the speaker tits. I have the strangest boner right about now.
Yeah.
That's kind of what H.R. Geiger was specialty, just weird stuff that's fleshy
aliens.
And so you're a little I don't know, but it's also creeping you out. Like the tequila monster in Poltergeist 2. I always thought that was a weird thing. It's
okay, I'm gonna say something that's probably will piss people off and maybe just might make me shallow.
I might be on the same page. What?
I'm ready to get angry.
There is one friend I had growing up, and he out of nowhere became goth one day, sort of overnight. He started listening to Marilyn Manson. It didn't matter. I listened to Marilyn Manson and all that other shit too. Didn't matter to me.
Mm-hmm.
But he was obsessed with Geiger, obsessed to the point where
cats and wallpaper.
He might actually have a tattoo. Now that I think about it. You're right, but it's one thing to change your laptop background. Sort of thing.
Sure.
But then to just have random, he basically painted his room black, the walls, and then just had a bunch of these posters and shit everywhere, and just his MSN Messenger name at the time was Geiger something, and he was absolutely obsessed. So I am glad that Geiger is dead, because I know it hurts this person that I now hate.
I was that's not really his fault that he designed a creature that really resonated with somebody somewhere, but okay.
But he represented everything about my past friends that I hated, that I didn't like. So now that he's dead, that person is dead to me.
Okay. Or that.
So I feel a little vindicated. That's see, even he could die. He wasn't that good. What do you think about that? You fucking.
Jeez, that's so weird.
Not kidding.
Are you suggesting we all go to this guy's house and just kind of break his kneecaps as we pour one out?
You know what? I don't know. I don't know where he lives, but maybe.
Okay. Probably best that you don't. I guess it sounds
extra
vindictive.
No, it's not a violent vindictive. It's just kind of a.
It's like my Kanye thing. It's not serious. It's just kind of recurring.
Yeah. Okay. Recurring. That's a good PC way to put it.
So,
So-
wait, would this like whenever you would watch an Alien movie, would you just kind of not be able to enjoy it then because it just puts you down this
No,
rabbit
because I
path?
got into Alien before I knew who designed all that shit. So to me, Alien is Alien, and
Well,
Geiger
that's
was the
different.
guy afterwards that was associated with it.
Okay.
Or
I mean,
like,
he did like a lot of concept art and kind of, design work and whatever, but it's not like one to one what you're seeing necessarily all the time.
I'm a little annoyed too because people on Twitter when this happened just were like, "Yeah, he was a visionary and stuff," and it's like, no, he was an artist.
Like he contributed to a pretty seminal horror sci-fi film. Like
He does some cool. He has done some cool artwork,
Yeah.
but he wasn't a visionary. He didn't cure cancer. He did not like bring anything amazing to the world except for aesthetic stuff.
Like
So when
creepy-ass
people,
visuals.
I think it's just this thing that when people over like value something,
Yeah.
I just hate it. I
Well,
just get
like-
so pissed off.
I can see myself doing that though with like different individuals, right? Like if, the day Nicolas Cage leaves this planet, I'm gonna be pretty bummed out about that.
I will
And-
also be saddened. I once hated
Sure.
Nicolas Cage.
Like
and
I
then
might
saw
kind of like
Kick-Ass.
posting a lot of stuff
Right.
about his movies in that week, and yeah, his mustache and stuff in that. He does some impressive work, but also just Batman with a gun essentially. That was really cool to see.
Yeah, it's
The
great.
scene is shorter than I remember though. Like every time I watch it, I'm like, oh, that was the best 70 seconds in the whole movie.
Yeah,
And
he
it's-
is in that movie for maybe 10 minutes.
Yeah,
Full
but
time.
Did Geiger
good.
do any of the designs for Prometheus? Because my shallow ass will totally hate on him if he did too many of them.
I don't think he did. I don't know if they really got him back for that.
It didn't
Because-
seem weird enough in Prometheus.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's just like a giant dude with like weird eyes or something. Like it's not.
Gotcha.
Ostensibly he did, though, because of the like jockey and all that shit. Like it had
Sure,
the same
sure.
look, but
Oh, sure. Like that, incorporating that kind of original stuff he came up with in the late 70s. But yeah, I don't. I was at like a party and went through a whole art book of his one time. Like it was just kind of everyone was like in a
that
like-
sounds like a great party, Nathan.
dude. No, what basically happened was like we all ate like bacon covered turkeys and then we're just in like food comas for the rest of the night. Like it was just like everyone was just like sitting there like just meat sweat and just like oh. So I was just in that state flipping through this H.R. Geiger book because everyone was just kind of hanging around.
Nathan, at this party, did you get crunk?
No,
I have a question about the party as well.
no, okay.
Were the bacon-covered turkeys arranged in such a way to evoke phallic symbolism?
No, I don't. Not consciously. I don't think.
Were there
no.
gold platters of tricolored pastas?
I don't think so. It was a Thanksgiving related thing, but I don't know if there was pastas. I mainly
At-
remember the turkey. There was a smoked one too, and it was like really rich but good, but like dangerous.
At this party, did anybody just whip out their cock?
No,
And
there
did
was
they
a-
rock out afterwards?
Actually,
Did-
now I'm trying to think. Like, there's this kind of like no, that didn't happen. But I'm saying there was this like rock band playing like constantly that their lyrics are essentially not being coy about stuff that rock's typically coy about. So it'll just be like
Okay, which one?
Like-
something with a panther in the name or
Steel
something?
Panther. Yeah.
Steel Panther, yeah. There was just nonstop Steel Panther playing at this party. So there were cock jokes happening, but not actual cocks.
Oh, it doesn't sound like my kind of gig, man.
I know. Sorry. Also, our
The way that
So
started,
just-
it sounded like we just like brought up this repressed memory where it's just like, actually, yeah, there was this one guy. Now that I think about it, that just
Actually,
threw.
now that I think about it, there were lots of cocks all
right after
over me.
talking to Steve online, he just got weird.
Just
yeah.
like thrusting in every direction.
Like I thought it was the book, but actually, yeah, that stuff was actually happening. It's weird,
Oh,
hazy
man.
dream. No, but I guess. Sorry, I guess it's just kind of bring up like a lot of stuff that he kind of came up with design stuff for, like kind of got canceled or didn't end up in the finished product. Like there was this Dune movie that was pitched like before the David Lynch one that he did a lot of work for that just kind of didn't come to fruition. There's like a documentary about it coming out soon or
Okay.
recently came out. And I guess no, sorry, I guess I can lead that into kind of like challenging how quickly Visionary is thrown around, in that like, yeah, people are saying like, oh man, if this Dune movie came out, it would have been so crazy, like it would change everything. Like this Andrei Bartolkovsky is a total visionary, and you're just like, he didn't even finish a film. Like he didn't even do his job. So he's a failed visionary, if anything, because he couldn't actually finish a vision, like a single one.
Man,
So
I wouldn't have minded another Dune movie come out just so we can confuse Dune canon further.
yeah, like there's David Lynch, and then it's like, okay, that was a failure. William like Hurt is in one in like the 90s, like Frank Herbert's Dune, and it's like a series, right?
Oh yeah, there was a series, wasn't there?
There's like a mini series, and then I think Children of Dune might have been adapted into something at some point. Like there's a lot of Dune related media out there, but apparently no one's ever quite gotten it right. And
Did
then
you know he was commissioned to do the Batmobile design
oh yeah,
for Batman Forever?
and was it rejected for being too weird?
Have you seen it?
No.
It
Was
looks like two weird, like, crab claws or something put together at the middle.
Was there phallic imagery in it?
Is there anything on there you'd identify as like, oh wait, yeah, that's a dick, right there?
Like,
This
not
weasel? Like, come on, it's got
not
balls.
right out, but maybe like a weird, like, tentacle hentai feel,
Okay, I'm gonna try to.
if anything.
Wait, what do crab claws have to do with bats? Is that why they turned it down?
No, it's because it doesn't look like a fucking Batmobile. Period. It doesn't look like a car.
It doesn't even look like a car.
Yeah,
It's because
it looks
Batman
like
always snatches the villains with his giant crab claws.
it does look like a giant snatch. I'll give you that.
Oh, okay. So
I don't know. That's not the kind of imagery I want to see out of my Batmobile.
Right? Yeah, it's kind of weird.
Yeah, this looks like a double helix or something.
Like,
Like,
kind of. I don't, or like a weird X.
Barb thing driving around.
Because that's an aerodynamic shape. A giant
Right.
X.
Yeah, Batman.
It's like, hey, do you want to draw a weird car? Okay, here you go.
It's like something you would design as like a car when you were like 3. Just like, this is my new car.
Keep in mind,
Just-
this is the same hero that makes bat-shaped everything, so I don't know how strange it really is in retrospect.
Well, it's weird because it doesn't look like a bat. So,
Well, like the final design that ended up in the movie I'm looking at now, it has like wing-esque looking things, but it also just looks like a mess. Like it's just like, I don't even know how to really.
Dude,
like, the
every
sleek Burton
Batmobile has
design-
looked kind of shitty.
I like the Burton one. It just looked like huge. It was like a tank
Yeah.
driving around.
That thing had
Yeah.
fins, man. I am going
Yeah.
to defend the Batman Begins Batmobile just because...
The Tumbler?
Since the thing was just...
A combat car. Like
since it was a combat car, it's supposed to look dirty. Like, this is a dude who thought he could be a superhero, so he slapped wings onto a tank and called it a Batmobile.
Yeah.
Like,
just painted it, and it's like, there, it's black now. Like this will work. Yeah, fair enough. Hey, actually, whoa! Speaking of Batmobile bullshit, did you see that picture?
yes.
No, I didn't.
The
Ben Affleck,
picture-
short ear Batman, is making its way around the internet, and I don't know, like that was a thing that happened.
I believe the proper term is Batfleck.
Oh yeah, right. And the
Does
symbol.
it look amazing?
It's a dude kind of with his head down, and like the ears are really short. That's kind of the most distinctive. Like, oh, okay, different kind of.
Oh man, I'm just looking at it now. Yeah, but the ears were short in the original comics too.
No, I know. I'm saying like on screen, the ears have been pretty big a lot of the time. So,
Yeah, compensation.
oh yeah. So like Affleck's like, I don't need it. I'm good.
I'm a little worried about that picture because, that's all we needed in this Zack Snyder directed sequel to Man of Steel. More somber characters.
Oh, I'm so sad.
I seriously think to balance out Superman's emo-ness, you need to bring back 60s Batman into the sequel.
Like lighten the mood. Just like, hey guys, making bad puns all the time and like solving mysteries.
Zack Snyder can do something amazing here, where he takes the all-American good boy Superman, make him a depressed wreck, and he makes Batman the happiest motherfucker you'd ever see.
Like the bat dance is in it. Like they just gets Prince back on the phone and he's dancing around.
He can put this shit back on the map. What's
Yeah.
he doing?
Yeah, he's got to have the bat dance. He has to call someone old chum. Yeah. You know what? I will be a lot more hopeful for this movie if Batman turns out to be that. Otherwise, let's be honest with ourselves, guys. It's going to be terrible.
Well,
It's
just
just
like, it
Batman.
seems to be serving so many different goals too. Like one story I read just kind of summed up what's already going wrong with this is that it's the Man of Steel follow up, it's the reboot for Batman, it's the Justice League kind of kickoff, and it involves Aquaman. Like
Have you seen the tweet where he tweets this picture?
Yeah, I think I did.
Holy whoring. I shot this with my @Leica camera M monochrome, #Batman, #Batmobile, #Gotham.
No, I saw there was a bunch of hashtags on it, but I didn't.
Amazing.
Was he
check out
wearing
the
his
conversation.
Akajo windbreaker as he tweeted it?
Probably. What an idiot.
Yeah, I still haven't seen Man of Steel, so I don't even know
The
what
visionary Zack Snyder.
he had used that word in trailers for his films, like Watchmen. I'm pretty sure had that, and like maybe Sucker Punch even.
There was nothing visionary about Watchmen, except for maybe when it was written at that time.
Yeah, in the 80s, like it's like,
Right, exactly. Guess what? We're not in the 80s. Let it go.
I will say this about the theatrical Watchmen.
Yep.
It probably did about as best as it could to be a theatrical Watchmen. Like the changes that were made, with exception of that really weird lovemaking scene in the hovercraft, the changes that were made kind of suited Watchmen as a film.
Oh,
so
no.
I'll give Zack Snyder props.
Don't get me wrong. As far as Watchmen goes, that is the superhero movie I like.
is like the
It's
kind of gravity.
It's basically Kick-Ass with like not comedy.
Oh, you're saying kind of just the vigilante type people.
The
Like,
vigilante type thing, and then they're just kind of like thrown out of popularity and blah blah blah.
Sure, but like I felt that movie just kind of suffered from the weird violent flourishes that dude loves so much. Like when it's like Silk Spectre and like Night Owl going out for a walk, and then they break like a bunch of limbs and kill a couple guys in an alley.
Fucked those guys up.
I'm
man.
like, no, I disagree. I'm okay with it.
No, but it seemed like so out of character for like we haven't crime fought in a long time, and now we just like killed a bunch of people. Let's go home and fuck to Leonard Cohen.
Yeah.
Dude,
When Night
I don't know
Owl
if you've
grabbed
ever
that guy's
killed
shin
anyone.
bone. Sorry, go on.
Real hurt.
No, go ahead, Shinbone.
I said when he grabbed that guy's shin bone and stabbed the eyeball out of another guy's shin bone and the eyeball out of another guy's shin bone.
Yeah.
This tells you how awake I am right now.
The guy with the shin bone. I missed
And then he like ate eyeballs and stuff. I was like, man,
It was so.
I don't think Night Owl's as retired as he thinks.
Considering how he's like supposed to be paunchy and kind of over the top, like over the hill. Yeah. Just kind of. I don't know.
You never
But
unlearn war.
Jackie Earl though, I thought was really good. Like I thought that was pretty much perfect.
No, I seriously thought that movie was fine, but I mean I'm also the guy that likes
man. What the?
I'm
fuck?
also the guy that likes Sucker Punch because it was just stupid. It was just a dumbass movie. So, whatever.
Yeah, like there was a moment in that where I was just like, this is like as close as I'm ever gonna get to like a Devil May Cry type movie or something existing, where it was
It's a
just
video
like,
game. That movie's a video game.
it was like they're on a train that's going around Saturn and there's robots and they're fighting them and like swinging outside this space train, and I was just like, this is the stupidest thing I've ever seen on a screen. Fantastic.
If
But
Suda
like-
51 was to make a movie based on a video game he made or never got to make but had like a script for, that was the movie right there.
Thing is though, like there are like 6 really cool music video type experiences in that movie, but then all the drama stuff in the real world is like so bad. Like it's just like, oh no, my friend died in the orphanage or whatever. It's just like, I don't, just get back to like, I want to see a dragon and all this stuff. Can you do that? Okay, here it is finally. Like,
Well, yeah, that's why you go see it.
are gone.
I don't know why they tried to shoehorn in like a story. That's ridiculous.
And take it like so seriously. Like despite dumb flourishes of just like it's the 50s in a like asylum and a dude walks in with a cigar and like a hip hop song starts playing. and it's slow-mo, and it's like, what is this? Is this supposed to be funny or like really serious? Like, I don't know. That dude's all over the map. So I guess I
Yeah.
should check out Man of Steel. That's what I'm saying. Like, is there a part where like Jay-Z just starts rapping and
Uh,
Superman punches a skyscraper?
Fieldy does. They start playing Fieldy's Dreams.
Really? What?
No,
there
I'm
are.
kidding.
There's no Jay-Z in Man of Steel as far as I know, but I am very interested, Nathan, in your impressions of that movie when you finish watching it. So hit me up on Twitter or something when you're done, because
Like, hey, I
there are
just
two
watched Man of Steel.
scenes, and you'll know them, that I want
Okay.
that I want to hear your reactions to.
Like they might.
Okay, I want to know what the two scenes are, just vaguely.
So I should take
Okay.
off my headphones or what?
No. I won't spoil the big parts of it.
Okay.
The scene with the tornado and the scene with the family at the end.
Okay.
Yeah.
Paul knows what you mean. I will.
You know what? I don't even remember. So
Okay. Good time.
I'm sure that
It might-
they were great.
Yeah, you might be blocking out some of that movie, and I don't blame you, because I lose long tracks of time from Michael Bay movies because they're so terrible. So
Dude,
I kind of understand that
Man of
completely.
Steel is 60 to 70% good.
I might lower that to 50, but there are good parts in it. There are good parts in it. Like real talk, there's more to like here than there was to like in Superman Returns for my money. But
Everything that's good in that movie is like, it's hard to say without spoiling some stuff, but it's very much this idea that Superman is an alien. Like, just, he is not just like a superhuman sort of thing. Like, he is from another place,
So
so
it's
he
a
had to
nice
adapt
dude with
to
super
this way of
strength.
living,
Okay.
sort of thing. And like, that might be as vague as I can go without spoiling some certain scenes and shit like that. But, and then like, it kind of calls back to it when he's fighting Zod. Obviously, you know that happens. And like Zod, when he comes to this world, he's fucked, because he's just like, oh god, I'm not used to like this gravity or like any of this shit. This is fucking weird. Like, he's just out of his element, sort of thing. And then it's like, oh yeah, I guess he like grew up in this environment, so he got used to it. But I don't know. There's some cool ideas. There's better ideas in there than I think that whole movie executed.
yeah, like there are times when Zod will just say the most brilliant line I've ever heard, and then he'll dial up the ham unnecessarily, and I'm like, why did he start yelling there? Why did he start yelling? And then there's like that scene with the tornado where characters act so out of character. And I'm not talking about like,
Yeah, the
yeah,
tornado. Yeah.
yeah. Now there are people who'll be like, no man, you just want it to be like the comics, and I'm like, no. A movie does not have to match its source material. I'm talking about the movie establishes who these characters are, and then that scene
It
just
breaks
kind
it.
of throws it right out the fucking window.
That scene specifically is just like, oh, yeah, okay. You know what? Never mind.
Okay.
That is...
I've heard something like Superman is really reckless with people's lives in this movie.
It's not even that. There's two... Okay, let's talk about two characters, okay? There's this one guy that knows that he's basically invincible. He's a god, essentially.
Okay.
And there's another guy who he cares very much for, and he just lets him kill himself, basically, when he could have done it. Like, he could have helped out.
Oh, weird. Okay.
It's just stupid. Because, like, what?
And even when you find out who these characters are, you will still be confused. In fact, you'll be even more confused than you are now.
Okay. Not having not even seen any of it, seeing it happen on screen will still be like, what the hell? Why would anyone do? Okay, I'll see that eventually. I guess I have not been super excited about it because a lot of people have said pretty middling to negative things, but I'll do my job at some
I
point.
stand by that. I still came out of that as a decent experience. I liked my time at the theater watching it.
Okay.
So it's better than 50%, I would say.
Okay, but so
it wasn't entirely joyless. I mean, he actually threw a punch in this movie, unlike in Superman Returns.
Dude, he destroyed a city. Like,
Yes, in Superman Returns, he didn't even throw one punch, not one.
but he
took
lifted
bullets
a
in the
continent.
eye. I love that part.
He did lift a continent. You gotta
He
give him props.
held a continent over his head, flying.
The eyeball bullet I thought was really cool. I would like that.
Yeah,
I like
definitely-
Superman
Blink.
Returns. Sue
Yeah.
me, whatever.
Kevin Spacey was real good.
You want
y- I have friends on both ends of the spectrum for Superman Returns. I have a friend who really, really loves it, and another friend who really, really hates it. And
They're
one
both
day
right.
I am going to introduce these people and just watch.
Watch the sparks fly, or
Yeah,
sparks fly, or
But
like battles.
yeah,
And
see,
yeah.
that's the
Basically,
problem is that they're both right. You can make an
they
argument for
are.
both sides.
There are things in Superman Returns that I argue, like there are a lot of people who hate the more petty elements of Superman, and I argue, no, Superman has some petty elements. That guy puffs out his chest. He loves the attention. He kind of wants to be loved and admired.
Mhm.
Um, I just felt the movie kind of took those elements a little too far, and they were a little too indulgent with that part of him. And you can't just present that side of Superman. There's a lot more to him, I think.
Hmm.
Superman is a more complex character than people like to give credit for, and maybe that's the problem. Like making a Superman movie is actually really hard. He's not just some Boy Scout. You have to capture his pettiness. You have to capture his kindness. You have to capture what will really piss him off because it like Superman and Batman have these oaths that they'll never kill, but I promise you Superman will break that oath first. It would be cool to explore what would make him do that. Like in a better way, let's say. I
Oh,
don't
okay.
know.
I guess it's just it seems like DC has to be kind of sitting over there just with envy, like just building up more and more over how successful Marvel's
Yeah.
money making empire is going right now.
Yeah.
Of just like every movie is an ad for the next movie, and then we release toys every 3 months. We got $1 billion in our
And
pocket,
Lego,
son.
Lego.
Dude, yeah, put Batman and Batman, different thing. Actually, no Marvel stuff ends up in the Lego movie, right? That's actually it.
Uh, Actually, there is Star Wars in the Lego movie,
Okay.
and that's
So
Disney owned.
Disney is the master of all, but okay.
Yes. One day we are all going to be owned by
Oh
Disney.
no, sorry, you're right. There's Lego Marvel Heroes or whatever, right?
Dude, you're not far off. Polaris is owned by Disney, and I know people part of that network. So yes, we will be all owned by Disney at some
Everything.
point.
Everything you've ever loved. You'll just be like, wait a minute, what? And it's like, yeah, CBS was acquired by it. It's like, what? What? Why?
As long as Disney gets me closer to finally dropping this mortal shell and implanting my mind into a cyborg body, I am all for it.
It's like Transcendence. I haven't seen that.
I'm sorry, I'm not familiar with hip hop. I messed it up. I'm sorry. Yeah, just like Transcendence.
Okay.
What if the cyborg body you got was Mulan?
All right.
Well, the problem there is that I might just be too turned on to ever do anything with it.
Just masturbation 24/7.
just gonna schlick 24/7 in Mulan's cyborg body.
Right.
Yeah.
Wait, why'd you bring up Mulan specifically?
Well,
Disney?
because
I don't know.
Oh, yeah, okay.
I don't know.
all he's saying is that Mulan's hot, man.
I think
Ah,
we just
we can
I
all
think
agree
we
to that.
found our title for this podcast. Mulan
Mulan's hot.
cyborg body. Okay,
a lot
so
is riding on this one film, and I don't know if it's gonna. I don't think it's gonna work out. But
Wait, are we talking about Mulan?
yeah, the Mulan third movie,
I'll
like
make a man out of you.
it's coming back to theaters with the new one. Like there was a sequel, right? They did the direct-to-video thing. I'm
There
pretty sure.
was, and I did not see it because I liked the first Mulan movie. I thought it was actually quite decent.
Yeah.
I didn't want to ruin it.
Same kind of thing
What?
here. Yeah.
Mulan?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Eddie Murphy was in it, and it
It
was
does
okay.
some cool stuff, especially when you think about how Disney is renowned for having Disney princesses and like useless bitches that get everything they ever wanted just by being pretty and having a man save them.
It's
and
like, I'm gonna
Mulan-
become a soldier and save
Mulan was the complete opposite. She didn't like get together with everybody at the end. She wasn't like renowned or anything. She was just a woman that basically trained to be a soldier and won.
Yeah, she basically fought for her country, and I like
It's
that message.
amazing.
And I
Yeah.
like the fact that movie's villain, whose name escapes me right now, that guy was fucking scary, man. I would not want to fight that dude.
Those.
I
Yeah,
think
the
he's-
Mongols were pretty mean. Like it's just like, wait, how many messengers does it take to deliver a message? Just one. Kill that dude.
Yeah, he was.
Some badass stuff. It's just like,
Yeah, you're watching. I'm like, what a fucking jerk.
yeah, he just shot that guy in the back. Like he's dead in this
Yeah.
Disney movie.
I really like good villains in movies. I will forgive a lot of bad movies if they have a cool villain in it.
I'm trying to remember, does he still do the Disney villain thing of falling to his death, like off of a pagoda or something? Like, is
Yeah,
that what
I
happens?
think, and
Or is
maybe
it,
you'll
no,
laugh,
it's
but I
like
think he fell into a firework or something. It was really
yeah,
weird.
I think he got launched with like a firework rocket.
Yeah,
But
which means he died exactly the same way as the guy in Kick-Ass died, which is pretty badass now that I think about it. Wow.
Amazing. Yeah.
yeah,
Holy shit.
That is a great
Mulan
movie death.
confirmed for Kick-Ass 3.
Mulan confirmed.
or like Expendables, just start rolling in animated characters, action roles.
I
That
would
would be
watch
great.
an animated Expendables with animated characters so fast.
But it's
I
like
know.
it's like Who Framed Roger Rabbit style, where they just cross over into the action averse and join up.
Like
Yeah,
who?
totally
Like the
down.
Heavy from TF2?
Sure,
Like-
why not?
The Heavy
Yeah,
from
okay.
TF2 and Lionel are just kicking the shit out of Megatron. Tell me you won't watch that fucking movie, man.
Megatron.
Just come the fourth movie, like who else are they gonna get? Like they didn't get Cage this time, which pissed me off. They're just like, hey, we'll settle for like Harrison Ford or something. But eventually they need Con Air himself personified.
Yeah, they need
I-
Con Air.
They need
At
the
some
whole
point-
cast of Con Air.
The whole cast of Con Air. I
They
think
kinda-
they got to get Reb Brown in that somehow.
Just like the plane lands at the end of Expendables 3. Then just everyone gets off.
Put the bunny down.
It's like, John Malkovich, why are you still alive?
Credits.
Yeah.
Put the bunny down. Credits.
Yeah. Oh, that
Oh,
movie's
man.
reliably entertaining. I still like it. It's so dumb, but it works.
It is.
I used to hate that series because.
Oh,
This is
Expendables? Oh,
Yeah.
I'm not talking about Expendables. I'm talking about Con Air. Expendables, they ruined their thing in the second movie. Like they fucked it up really quickly, which is I didn't think it was that easy to do. Like it's just like you get a bunch of guys and you make an old school action movie. But then in the second one, they're just like, and you wink at the camera every 30 seconds and say a line from an old movie. And it's just like, no, because then I know you're joking. And it
and
ruins
Chuck
it.
Norris. Let's throw him in there because that's
Yeah,
not
because
old.
that's funny. That still works. Like,
Yeah, it is possible. Like, I like when things are self-aware. It's possible to be too self-aware.
Yep.
You kind of find that balance. Like the latest A-Team remake, they kind of found that balance. Yeah, they winked a little bit at you, but they didn't overly do it, right?
right.
So-
Like, it's like, this is totally absurd right now, but everyone's kind of taking it seriously enough to where, yeah, they fall out of a plane in a tank and it's stupid, but it's kind of just still entertaining.
Well, it's A-Team.
Sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, Expendables 2 was just like there wasn't like part of it was just there was no fight choreography really. It was just so everyone has a machine gun and they just walk around and fire that gun and we'll just edit in a bunch of footage of stuntmen jumping around and glass shattering and there you go, we got a action scene. Like it's just a mess.
In all fairness, fight choreography is something Hollywood has really dropped the ball on as of late. It's all shaky cam and very little of those old school moments that really capture the key stills of a fight, right? Like
Yeah.
there are a lot of people who laugh when I say this, but the average choreographed fight in a Power Rangers episode is way better than a lot of shit Hollywood does.
Sure.
Because
Yeah.
Especially since you can see
wobble
it.
camera, so
Yeah.
you can't even enjoy what's happening. Like honestly, that's kind of where the Raid movies kind of are filling that of just like wow, like I forgot how elaborate fight scenes can be, and I've heard great stuff about like Ip Man and stuff too. I don't know if you've seen any of those. People have been really excited about it. But-
I don't think I have, but
There's a
again,
bunch of
long
those.
swaths of time and all that.
Right. I guess Hong Kong and like Malaysia, that's where you got to go for fight choreography now. But there's some cool fights in the Raid 2. It's just 2.5 hours long, and I elaborated on that a couple weeks ago.
Yeah,
But-
both Raid flicks are on my list of things to watch.
First one has a better pacing to it. It's like barely 2 hours, and like at least an hour of that is probably actually action stuff happening, and then you get a bit of time to relax before it kicks up again. But yeah, 2.5 hours. They kind of try for more crime drama type stuff, and I don't know, that's not its strong suit. But yeah, I don't know. There you go.
Nice, thank you.
Movies. Speaking of films, you guys ever see 12 Angry Men?
Many times, yeah.
Okay.
I have not, or have I? The title sounds like something I should have seen.
You've definitely seen either a satire or a parody of it on a cartoon or something.
You
In
might.
fact, Simpsons did an episode like that. They just full out did. Yep, they did.
What? Like 12 dudes in a room debating stuff?
Yep. Well, it was what the fuck was it?
Like there was
was it when the waiter got beaten?
Well,
that
there's
reference?
Jury related stuff in like a trial, but it's not like 12 men in a room. That is the episode. Like that would have been really cool.
I'm pretty sure they did something like that. Maybe not the full episode though.
Yeah.
Like a part in it, but
whereas this is 96 minutes of like the giant like majority of that movie is dudes debating whether or not a dude committed murder or not.
Well, it's specifically one dude trying to make everybody else see his way.
Which isn't like, I definitely know he didn't do it. It's just kind of like explaining what reasonable doubt is, essentially, of just like, I don't know. Like, I don't know as certain enough to kill this guy because it's going to be the electric chair if we convict him. And then, slowly over the course of the movie, you see kind of everyone kind of start to think more ponderously about what's going on and kind of weigh their own prejudices and like their feelings and whatnot. And I don't know, like 57 years later, like still totally works. Like it was really cool to see that. I'd seen it before in like junior high, but watching it again yesterday, I was kind of just like, wow, like this is old. And you can kind of see where it's like, oh, this is of a different time because like there's no women on the jury, there's no black dudes on the jury, like there's kind of just this kind of room full of white guys and maybe one Spanish guy and like an Eastern European guy, I think is how diverse it gets. But that's not the point. It's kind of just 12 different opinions and kind of seeing these different characters interact with each other and that being kind of completely riveting. And it's one room. Like, I don't know. That's drama. Yep. It was great.
I find it's kind of funny that that a courtroom drama like that shows kind of the flaws with the justice system can still to this day kind of get the point of it because our justice system is still fucked up.
Yeah.
Like it's literally just a bunch of people that have never met each other and come in there with like they're angry that something happened like with their relationship with their son or they have this prejudice because this dude like fucked with them one time or whatever and they get to decide a person's fate.
Right. Like all these kind of factors that wouldn't be readily apparent during the jury selection process kind of come out as these people unravel and have to dig deeper.
Which is what this movie is. The 12 men all have different backgrounds and as
and
like
we don't
they're
even
talking
know that stuff. We just kind of see the snapshot provided by this couple hours on this day.
You learn about them. Like as he's talking to each one, it comes out eventually as to like it's very subtle. It's not like I hate black people sort of thing. It's like they talk in this weird way. Each person is an archetype of like a different
perspective
type of person or different perspective and how like their past or whatever that slowly comes out as they're talking and their prejudices come out just through dialogue. That's all this movie is. And it is riveting. It is fantastic. It's really good.
Like I guess it was weird reading after that like it was not successful when it came out. Like it only cost $340,000, but like it didn't break even then. But like in the 50 plus years since then, like it has become just like incredibly revered. Like it's currently rated as like the number 8th best movie on IMDb. And like sometimes I get my blood up about that kind of stuff. I'm just like, oh, it's just a big popularity contest. But it's just like, you know what? Like this movie actually has something to say that I appreciate it doing that, and it's really well put together. And yeah, I don't know. I was impressed. And honestly, like this kind of has all stemmed from me reading like a book by Sidney Lumet, the guy who directed it. This was his first feature film. And I've kind of been going through a bunch of his movies that I missed over the years. And I finally watched The Verdict, which he directed 25 years after 12 Angry Men. And it's also a legal drama, but from a kind of different perspective. It's a prosecution attorney who's well past his prime. Like he's been fired from a firm, had a couple years of just kind of waffling around, losing cases and not doing very well. Like he basically just goes to funerals and hands out his card and hopes they want to do a lawsuit, which is kind of gross. Like he's an ambulance chaser kind of guy.
Yeah.
Paul Newman plays him. and I guess it's one of David Mamet's like earliest screenplays, so it's kind of like, you know, some writing pedigree there. And it's kind of neat to see another legal movie from like the same guy, and it ultimately hinges on, again, like the jury is who decides what happens, and he has to make this kind of appeal to them, because it's like legally the case gets kind of out of control for him. Like his prosecution team, like their case is basically invalidated by the letter of the law. Like it's just like, well, we're going to cite this kind of precedent, and based on that, you're not allowed to admit this testimony as part of it, or like this witness and all this stuff. Like it's kind of legal shenanigans. But then he again kind of puts it in like 12 regular people get to ultimately decide what happens here. Like, please make the right decision. And it's kind of cool to see just kind of another story. I guess the case is a medical malpractice suit in this one. Like, it is a woman was put into a coma because doctors at a Catholic hospital may have screwed up, and the Catholic Church has pretty deep pockets and they don't want to look bad, so they hire like a giant legal team headed up by James Mason, which was kind of cool to see old James Mason playing like this kind of scummy lawyer. Like, it was just like a nice big role for him. And yeah, him and kind of Paul Newman squaring off, but in a very kind of not like, oh, ultra realistic or something or gritty. It's just kind of the way it unfolds is very kind of naturally paced, and it just seemed kind of plausible in a way. It was cool. So good movie too, but less focused, like one room, this is what's happening, but it's all kind of centered on a few days, like a 1 week from just before the case, like kind of convincing everybody that they need to go to trial, and then the actual case itself, and kind of like tracking down witnesses and stuff and trying to build a case in like a really small amount of time. It seemed really well considered. And I guess reading again kind of like trivia type stuff, it's pointed out like this kind of predates a lot of legal movies that came later. Like The Firm kind of kicked off a huge wave of John Grisham stuff. Like, this is a well-made movie that is like a decade before that, and not a lot of people, like IMDb 300,000 people rated 12 Angry Men. Like, everyone's seen that. The Verdict is like 20,000. And it's like, there's really good performances in it and stuff. Like, it's a well-made movie. It's just maybe a little less kind of like, yeah, justice, like we did it. It's more just kind of like, oh, I don't know, like big powers that be can kind of afford justice. Like, it's kind of those kind of questions. But
yeah, I'm gonna have to add The Verdict to my list. I'm almost completely certain I've seen 12 Angry Men already, but I don't remember a lot about it, and I'm kind of writing a script that's a legal drama, so I think I'm gonna be boning up on some legal drama type flicks in the next little bit.
that's probably a good foundation for that. Like, it's kind of after the case has already been presented, but it kind of comes out over their discussions. Like, I don't know, it's really clever use of narrative stuff, 12 Angry Men, of just like, there's no real just expository dialogue dump of just like text on the screen explaining what's going on. You just kind of, if you pay attention to the conversations, like so many details about the case will kind of just come out, and it seems kind of natural, like just fly on the wall kind of stuff of just like, you are in the room with these dudes and you see like this heated conversation that takes place. And
well, yeah, they're pissed off because they all agreed except for one guy.
Yeah,
so they wanted to go home, and one guy, if I remember, is like going to miss a baseball game or something. So he was
Jack
pissed off
Ward's
about.
Character is just constantly like, just like, I gotta make the game. Like, it's still a couple hours.
Dude, he is like the villain. He is just such a pain in the ass that whole
like
time.
Completely amoral about it. Like, he just does
until the end, and then he breaks just so bad.
Sorry, you're mixing up two different characters. Like, Vijay Cobb is like the most shrill guy who's always against the group. He's just like, no, of course he did it. And yeah, he has like an amazing scene right at the end where it's just like a man unravels in front of your eyes, and it's
amazing. It is really well done.
So yeah, 12 Angry Men, still highly recommended. Like, Verdict was a great companion piece for that, and I continue to kind of watch a bunch of Sidney Lumet stuff. That guy was a pretty reliable filmmaker, as it turns out.
57 years old, that movie.
Yeah, it's a long time, but like still a lot of pertinent stuff in there. So good old watching. I know people are like, oh, Nathan's probably gonna talk about some old movie,
No, this one I will attest to. That, like, even though it sounds like it could be boring, it's like a crime drama, and it's one room, it's black and white, and all it is talking. It is fucking fantastic.
Yeah.
Hey man, I'm all for some of the classics. Some of them are super well made. Like nobody
Especially as a
does.
writer, you'll
Mhm.
enjoy the hell out of this. It's really well done.
Like I know that I'm gonna pop it in and I'm gonna be like, oh yeah, I remember this. Hey, I remember that, but I don't remember it right now. So
Yeah, as I
watching it
was
again,
watching
it's
it,
not gonna hurt.
like watching it again, I was like, I'm vaguely remembering like parts of the case, but like I don't like there was still a bunch of surprises in there again, like a decade since I saw it last time, like the details were lost. So seeing them kind of again was like, wow, that's a good scene right there. Like just yeah, a lot of stuff to appreciate. So yeah, old movies. They're pretty awesome sometimes.
And I kind of like that they don't come up with a conclusion. Like, they don't definitively say at the very end, oh, you're right, he didn't do it. There's still doubt there. That
It's just like the importance of doubt in the justice system is almost like the thesis statement of just
That's-
like unless
that's the mission statement for the whole film.
yeah,
That's it. Yeah.
yeah, it's important. It's good. It's good stuff. I don't know how to like Henry Fonda. Like I don't. Nothing else was quite like that other than the verdict in that. So, video games. I played minigame stuff. I played like 3DS. It was kind of fun. Baseball.
Wow, that was quite the transition.
Yeah, Henry Fonda.
Henry Fonda,
Early
3DS,
in
video
play
games.
He's real deal baseball if he was alive today. I'm pretty confident in saying that. There's no way to make that. Apologies to any Fondas that are alive and listening. Which I'm
All
sure
of
is
the Fondas that are listening.
Hey, Bridget. Jackie Brown was pretty good.
For some reason, this is making me think of the NES game Bad News Baseball, because it was a pretty average baseball game, but it had like cinematic, dramatic cutscenes for if there were close calls where they would zoom into you just barely making it safe or getting tagged out,
Or like
and that
the wall.
that combines baseball and cinema.
Nice.
That's my contribution. To
There you
the
go.
conversation.
Cinema in baseball form. There's also a lot of baseball movies, but someone bail me out. What other media did you guys consume?
I can talk about Bound by Flame if you want.
All right, let's get into the other indie game that.
I don't know if it's indie.
Oh, okay.
It was made by Spiders, the guys who did Of Orcs and Men, if you remember that, and how lackluster that was, but not bad.
I don't.
Okay.
Okay. Like you're saying,
So-
this game's garnering more attention than it deserves.
Like any attention? Okay, I'm bitter.
What did this game do?
It charged me $40 for a blind buy because I thought it looked cool.
Okay.
So it is $40. It is somewhere between probably like a very, very good indie game studio to like a AAA studio, that type of quality, somewhere in the middle, like middling sort of thing. So already like $40. You think, well, that's not too bad. Like, I'll try that out. And it looks like it would play like Dark Souls, kind of. It's fantasy era themed sort of thing, like with dragons and, well, specifically skeletons and like zombie things and demons and whatnot. And it's an action role-playing game. And it looks like it would play like Witcher, maybe, or like Dragon's Dogma or Dark Souls or any of these type of games. But the thing that makes all those games great in their own respective ways is that the combat systems are completely flushed out where it feels good when you do it.
Yeah.
And the combat system in this is utter horse shit that should never be ever done
Okay,
again.
wait. Like there are particularities to like Demon Souls and Dark Souls and stuff that are kind of, it's animation heavy, or like some action games will have like they don't
Yes.
feel tight, it feels loose kind of thing.
Yes.
Like how would you describe like input versus output?
It's exactly what
happens.
you just said. There's animation priority, which is fine, but it feels loose, and also it doesn't feel like it gives you any punch when you're actually doing stuff. There's not...
Like there's no hit reaction from the enemies, or...
Well, that's not even a big deal, because in Dark Souls and Demon Souls, there are some enemies that you'll just tank away at them, and they're taking damage, but like they're not being bothered because they're giant dudes in armor.
Right.
So they're like,
okay.
whatever. Like, it hurts.
They can shrug
I'm-
off the impact of that.
Well, it hurts, but I'm going to fuck you up. Like,
Right,
I'm
okay.
still going to swing this giant mace at you or something.
Sure.
but-
like there's a logic to it, maybe.
There's a logic to it, yeah. With this game, okay, first of all, it does play more like a Dark Souls, like a bad Dark Souls. People were saying on Twitter that if people that say Bound by Flame is like Dark Souls have never played The Witcher, that is bullshit. And I'll tell you why. Because The Witcher is like a Diablo clone with very, very intricate combat, basically.
Mm-hmm.
This is much more the like animation priority, trying to dodge and duck out of the way and shield block and parry and that whole sort of thing that Dark Souls and Demon Souls did. So that's why it is actually more like that game, you clod. Now, second of all, what Dark Souls does good is that when you are playing and you're doing your different like weapon attacks or blocking or parrying or whatnot, it feels very, I wouldn't say intuitive, because I would say intuitive for me because I've been playing Demon Souls since that came out and it hasn't changed in the way that plays. But like once you learn it, it feels good. Like you know which button to push when you dodge, so it feels fair when you don't push it in time because that enemy made a tell. Like you had to move. You're an idiot because you didn't do it, sort of thing.
Okay.
There's two stances in this game, first of all. There's like a ranger stance and a warrior stance. When you're in the warrior stance, you can't dodge. You can only parry. When you're in the ranger stance, that's when you can push the button to dodge. Well, you can do it on the fly. That's fine. But there is still animation priority. So, like, if something's about to attack you and you're, like, changing stance and then trying to do something, you're going to get attacked. And not only that, but you can get comboed if there's multiple things around you and just, like, die. You can just get destroyed, which normally isn't a bad thing. But there's still something, I don't know exactly what it is. There's something so off about the combat that
you can't develop a feel for it. Like, how much time have you put in to kind of adjust to it?
Oh, I've only put in like an hour because it's boring as well. But
Like,
that's a whole different issue.
Okay.
It's lacking something, and I don't know what it is. I can't feel it.
Is it maybe heft to your attacks?
There's definitely no heft at all. Like, even when you're tinking on someone's armor in a Dark Souls or Demon Souls, there is heft. There's none of that here, and it's fucking irritating. It got a little bit better as I started leveling up my character and, like, doing more damage and whatnot, and I'm sure by the end you feel fine, but it didn't feel good at all while I was playing the first, like, level sort of thing, or the first half of the second level. And, I don't know. Also, it just feels like I'm ragging on it for doing something that another game does better, not good, for a lower price. And I don't know if that
Well, like,
constitutes...
that's kind of fair. Like, it's like, why would you play Two Worlds when Elder Scrolls exists? Was kind of a thing I felt. Of just like, this is clunky. Like, there's no excuse for this. There's no,
Sure.
an inferior product. But
I think maybe they just tried to do too much and it failed because they didn't do any of it well. Because not only is like the combat system terrible when you deal with that stuff, but there's also like you have to hold a button and then push a button to do ranged combat or to do magic attacks. Like they try to put everything in there and none of it works. None of it's gratifying, and down to the point where when it's really bad, it's frustrating. So I don't know what it is. I just can't tell. But okay, so there's that. The story is kind of bullshit and it's buggy. So there's the other stuff right there.
How many enemies does this game throw at you at once? About?
The most I've had was probably 6 or 7, and a boss. Like little skeleton guys that were like coming up the edge, sort of thing, like zombies, and a giant demon boss thing in the middle. So, I don't know. Maybe it's unbalanced in what they expect you to do for like how little quality they give you to do it, but it's not very good. I see people giving this like a 7 out of 10 and stuff. You're wrong. You're just straight up wrong. There is no.
I just saw the IGN review, where they specifically cite the combat as being the best thing about it, which is kind of weird.
That just goes. IGN lost touch about what games are, and they're in for internet money. What I'm looking at something right now here, GameRankings.com. I've never seen it before, but I clicked a link randomly, and it has a bunch of different latest reviews sort of thing. And these ones that are giving it, I'll be fair, it's an easy 5 out of 10 if you were to do that. Like, there's probably enough there where if you were actually interested for whatever goddamn reason in the story, or like if you thought the combat system was hard but intricate enough that you might want to try to master it or something, you could probably do it, but you would probably be an idiot. So
Is the visually, does it have anything going on? Like, it's like, well, the graphics are
yeah,
kind of cool actually. Like,
yeah, it looks fun. It looks like get this, Dark Souls. So
oh yeah, I heard that's a popular game nowadays.
yeah, but see, the thing is, like, if you wanted to play Dark Souls, there's a whole game that's kind of like that. Oh yeah, it's called Dark Souls. Just fucking buy it.
There's Dark Souls 2.
Shell out the extra
Demon's
$20 and get a quality product that they've honed for like 3 different titles now.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, I've been playing a lot of Dark Souls too.
Okay. And how does that compare?
It's fucking fantastic, but I'll tell you one thing, it's easy.
Okay. Like, I guess some people were saying that relative to other Dark Souls games, this is a little more approachable to a fault. Like, some people were kind of mad about it.
Okay,
and I don't
if we're
know.
Well, if people have been playing every game in the series, they could just be getting better at the games. I mean, it could just be
I guess
that too.
yeah. Like, just like, no, you're just good at
Well,
this.
no,
Yeah.
I'll tell you why it's easy. It isn't necessarily the combat or anything, because some of the hardest parts of that game aren't the boss fights or any of that. It's when you got 2 big enemies coming at you and you can't just circle strafe around them. You got to dodge and like tuck and roll and all that sort of stuff. That is actually still genuinely difficult, and fuck that game in some spots. The boss fights have gotten easier to a point where a lot of them seem to be, they used to be giant monsters and stuff like that. Now a whole lot of them are just like demon knights or something like that, or like knights of some sort. So they're just dudes in armor with like a spear or a shield and sword, or like a 2-handed sword or whatever, and they're swinging at you. So what you do is you get a shield, you hold your shield up and circle strafe around them. When they swing, after their swing is done, you take 1 shot, and you just keep doing that. So the bosses are stupidly easy. But what makes this game easier is that they've opened it up so much that you can tell what you're doing, and that's why I'm not too mad about it, because
Wait, like, you
they're
can
actually
tell what you
game design.
like. There's visual feedback as to like that did this number of damage or something, or what do you mean?
Well, yeah, there's definitely that. There's like health bars, and when you take a swing, you can see how much damage, like visually, it did, and there's also a number above it, sort of thing. So you can always see how much damage you're doing. But also, do you remember what like random oil in Demon Soils did, or like whatever? No, you
Yeah.
didn't, unless you read a wiki and you got really into that game.
Right,
This
like
game,
the
it
item
tells you just
descriptions
right on the
were-
screen.
Okay, so the item descriptions are more thorough and explicit.
Item descriptions are more thorough. When you're leveling up, you can actually see your different stats change and like what that's going into, and then you can read what each stat actually gives you. So, and they split up your like stamina or endurance or whatever it was called into 2 different parts. So now there is a separate stat for both your like carrying load, for like how much armor and shield and like sword weight and stuff like that you can actually carry and still move efficiently, and your endurance, like your stamina for running and stuff like that. They're separated now, so you can actually target what you want to min-max easier, and that makes that game a whole lot easier as well. There's way more bonfires than ever before, so checkpointing is way more simple, and some of the enemies just seem really stupid. Like, it seemed like every enemy in Demon's Soul specifically, besides the very, very low tier of zombie dudes that just ran at you and flailed wildly, they would have some sort of like thing that you had to do to kill them, and that was
like
part
a pattern.
that was part of solving the puzzle aspect, where it's just like, this is a real time action puzzle that I have to solve. In this, a lot of them are very much like those zombie flailing characters, where you just put your shield up, when they're done, hit them.
It could be just the devs getting older. They say you get older, you get more mellow, and they're like, don't be too hard on them kids anymore.
Yeah, maybe.
Them up. Yeah.
I will say one thing though. There's still 2 enemies in the part I'm at. I'm only 8 hours into the game, which apparently equates to about 25% done. So I got a long way to go. But The rats are still a pain in the ass because they poison you, and poison can fuck you up really bad, real quick.
Mm-hmm.
And there's these exploding zombies that just kind of like run at you, and then when they're in the vicinity where they'll do damage to you, not even up to you, they will just fall flat, like face first flat onto the ground, and do like a little area of effect explosion that takes away all of your stamina with one hit and basically kills you if two of them do it.
Jeez.
And
Okay.
it's fucking annoying because they fall just out of your range if you're using a normal sword, that you actually have to run into them as they're running and then take a slash because they still die in one hit.
Mm-hmm.
But like, oh my god, when you have one enemy that can destroy you and it's just a
How
middling
big is the
creature,
area? Is it pretty big?
well, it's just like a normal, like, not an arena size thing, but like a room. And there was one spot where there's like fucking 6 of those guys, and it was like a jail cell. That was shitty. But
Okay.
like just
Oh, man.
kiting them around.
I just had the most politically offensive idea ever, and you can make a
Yep,
Dark Souls game in Afghanistan, and you have suicide bombers coming after you in a tight room, and
they would be the most annoying enemy in that game. You're right.
you have to save in a bonfire, even though it's modern day.
A barrel fire.
A barrel fire, wearing a barrel.
.com. .co.
Isn't there some talk of like one of the main developers of the Souls games is making a shooter?
Yeah, isn't it called Beast Souls or something? That's what I heard.
I have no idea, but that sounds amazing.
I know, like I was just like hearing this conversation as like that sounds like that would make me want to play that more. Like I don't know, I like guns more than swords. I'm weird that way. I don't know.
You are weird.
Yeah.
That's why I like you.
Oh, thanks.
I like you too, Nathan.
Thanks, Carlos.
Oh, can I say one
Whoa.
little thing that bugged me about Bound by Flame?
Oh, Bound by
Just quickly.
Okay, back on that.
This is just such a stupid thing. You create
Okay.
a character. You have
Yep.
a spot for where you can like put your name, and it automatically says Vulcan. I'm like, I don't want to be Vulcan. I want to be Jesus with Z's instead of S's.
Well,
So I
yeah.
put that in, and they still call you Vulcan because they're all pre-made like voice-overs and stuff like that. So no matter
Oh.
what, you're Vulcan. Just straight up. You can't change that name.
Huh. Okay.
You can change it so it appears different, like on your menu.
Is there voiceover in this game?
Oh yeah, there's that and like cutscenes. It's a game. It is a full game.
No, I know it's a game, but like Dark Souls has text only, right?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, this is more like another game of this genre sort of thing then, with like a story that they tried to make you care about, but you don't.
Right, as opposed to just the environment is weird and you kind of figure out what's going on in this world
That's right.
by playing it.
Yep. Anyways,
Kinda
that's
waiting
all
for
I have
the-
to say.
Kind of waiting for the game like that with photorealistic characters, but they talk exactly like Star Fox on SNES. They
Yeah.
open their mouths, so it's like, "Bibbidi-bibbidi."
Like, it looks like a real guy, but for some reason they just they spent all their time developing like amazing looking faces, and then they just didn't hire any voice actors. So it's just like, why'd you make reality do that?
Don't make reality unless you want to go all the way reality.
Yeah. Mocapping.
Mocap. Anyways, that's all I had. I think that's all that stands out to me. So that's
So,
anything else isn't important.
I played some Asura's Wrath. I brought it up earlier, like the PS3 version.
Oh yeah, the cutscene game.
The cutscene game. Although, honestly, I guess my one issue as of right now is I kind of wish it was all cutscenes, because there are like shitty character action moments.
Yep.
And I have it set on easy, so it's not like hard. It's just mash buttons for a while until the rage, like the burst meter fills up, and then
Doesn't
the
it
game
just take you away from the thing that makes that game great, and it's just a stupid anime cutscene?
What do you mean?
Not literal anime. But
Oh, you're saying the good
stupid
stuff
anime
is the
bullshit.
stupid anime cutscenes. Yes, exactly.
Yeah, so it's the actual, like, just push this button a bunch of times is taking you away from the thing you actually want to see.
Right, and at some point when you're fighting the exact same creature again, you're just like, why is this even in here? Like, this is a waste. Like, this is padding. Like, there's no way to justify why I'm fighting yet another giant turtle.
That's
Like,
why animes are terrible, by the way.
Do they just throw the same? Like, I know there's like redundant like repetition and stuff of like last time on, and you kind of just get a recap and all this kind of stuff. Like, this has those, but the same exact fights, basically, like the same bullshit little battles that don't matter. Does that kind of fill out a season in a lot of
Isn't that
anime?
exactly what Dragon Ball is?
I always assume the fights that happen in Dragon Ball are like big world events. Like it's just like Vegeta versus Gohan. Does that make sense? What I just said? Would he never fight that guy?
They have fought.
Okay.
I was just gonna say that it's kind of funny that in Dragon's Dogma, like in most games, they pad out the action scenes with QuickTime events, and in Dragon's Dogma, the QuickTime events are kind of the game, and then they pad that out with boring fights in between.
Like in Asura's Wrath, yeah. Like also Capcom, different take on things, I guess.
Sure.
And yeah, like some of the like I've played 10 episodes of it so far. Like all but 2 of those were pretty fun, like just kind of seeing ridiculous stuff happen. But yeah, 2 of them just seem like a complete waste of time. Like pacing wise, it's just like this doesn't count as a big crazy fight anymore because 4 chapters ago I fought a guy who was bigger than the planet and tried to crush me with a single finger. And then all my 6 arms started punching his finger, and a giant shockwave launched him out. Like it was just like beyond insane scale. And then it's like trying to go back to like smaller scale stuff, and it's just like, no, you guys should ramp up. Like every single fight should be crazier than the last until it's just orgasmic crazy nonsense. And I don't know why, but they keep kind of going like, remember back when you were less powerful and you fought a bunch of like diseased apes? And it's like, yeah, that was boring compared to this. Why would we talk about that?
I think you also need those moments to like catch a breather, right? Like you'll even see this in games that aren't Asura's Wrath. Like you'll see big super climactic fight and then a bit of a breather moment where something uncharacteristically easy occupies your time before you get to the next big fight.
I guess I just kind of want the nonsense all the time. Like I'm just like every time I sit down with the Asura's Wrath, I want to be blown away by like absurdity. And like today,
Yeah.
my session with it was kind of lackluster. It was just like, all right, another turtle, and okay, there's kind of a weird bit where you're sitting in a hot tub and there's a sexy lady, and it makes a really, really amazing juvenile like burst joke. Where, like the meter fills up with you kind of getting aroused, and then you get interrupted from bursting. It was like, oh, I see. That's pretty funny. But the rest of that episode was, yeah, flashback, mini battle stuff, which, I don't know. I just want that game to... Like, I'm told the crazy giant space Buddha fight I did, which was also the demo, so I know Paul's seen that as well.
Yep.
That is, like, chapter 3 or 4 or something, and I'm 6 chapters after that, and nothing has topped that, but I'm told the game does. Like, something stupid happens later. And I guess I'll stick around and see, but I don't know. Like it's almost like I'm fine with like everything the game is doing, but it seems like there was when this game came out, there was like a really enthusiastic audience that was just like, "Oh my god, you gotta play Asura's Wrath, so amazing!" And it's just like I don't have this selective memory thing where I'm just like, "Oh well, yeah, I auto deleted 5 of the chapters that were incredibly boring." And I am telling you about the highlight reel of Asura's Wrath, and it's amazing. And you're just like, okay, but that stuff still exists and is interrupting the pace and is boring. So that's ruining my time. Like, I felt the same way about Saints Row 3, of just like, did everyone who loved that game forget about the first 10 hours they spent with it? Because it's like the slowest build up to the craziness that happens at the end. And, like, sure, the majority of your time with it might have been with crazy superpowers and stuff, but there's a lot of you not having that in that game, and it sucks, especially knowing that happens. Like, it's just like, when do I get the laser jet? Hour 10? Then why do these other 9 hours exist? Like, what are you doing? So, I don't know. Yeah. I feel like, not that I was, like, the game was misrepresented exactly, but I don't know. There needs to be more kind of grounded readings on stuff of just like, yeah, no, cool stuff happens in Asura's Wrath, but it's not all balls to the wall crazy all the time. That's unfortunate to me, but Yeah, grouching. Sorry.
No. It's fair. The game advertises itself as, "Hey, you're gonna play some dude who could probably beat up Goku." I kind of want to beat up a bunch of Gokus with that claim made, right? So,
Like, yeah, and not kind of go back to small fry. And if, or present the small fry again, but then it's like not even a thing. Like, it's just a one punch. Like, it's just like, oh, it's another giant turtle. You already fought one of those. And then it's just you burst immediately and just kick it into space. And it's just like, yeah, moving on. Like, it just kind of could reuse the same assets, but just kind of, you feel like it's getting more and more crazy and more powerful, as opposed to just kind of dips, like weird highs and lows. Like, just, I want all highs all the time. All the time. Nonstop. So there was that. And I played Punch Out, the like Wii version today.
The remake?
Yeah.
Or whatever. Yeah.
But there's like new dudes in it. So I guess the new one, the latest one.
each one more culturally insensitive than the last.
Yeah, there's like a guy from India and he's got a magic carpet because, that's what they do. Honestly, I found the Salmon Arm guy really funny because like I have an aunt who lives in Salmon Arm, so it's just like this.
Yeah, I've been there many times too.
Yeah, this lumberjack character that guzzles maple syrup, and like his shout out lines are just like sockeye, like salmon.
Yeah,
and just like dumb, like he just says salmon arm at some point and then goes to punch you, like
bear hugger
arm. And yeah, his like bear hug. I think his name's Bear Hugger.
It is.
Yeah.
He was in the Super Nintendo Punch Out, actually.
Yeah,
That's
okay.
right.
Just seeing him with voice work and stuff, and I actually didn't play the Super Nintendo one, so maybe I missed out.
You should. It's good. It's easier than the first one, though. So,
isn't it a totally different kind of perspective? Like it's more right behind your back, translucent dude.
Yeah, it is. And
technologically advanced, yeah.
Yeah.
There also weren't a lot of old Punch Out characters in it. Most of them were brand new.
So
Was there any old ones?
Bald Bull,
Bald
Mr.
Bull.
Sandman.
Yeah.
Super Macho Man.
Mm-hmm.
And
You're right.
Bear Hugger actually comes from the old arcade Punch Out, so he kind of counts.
Okay.
Bear Hugger.
Yep.
Gabby J.
Now I'm kind of like, I wonder how many Super Nintendo dudes are in the Wii one that I just don't know. Like, is Disco Kid new?
No, he's new.
Okay.
The only one other than Bear Hugger from the SNES who made it in, I think, was Aaron Ryan. I think all the rest are from the NES.
You're right.
Crazy Irish dude.
The Irishman. Yeah.
Yeah, I just finished that dude, and now I'm on Soda Popinski, and I don't know. Like, I'm just like, what the fuck happened? Like, it's just the reaction time on that. I was just not up to speed. Like, I don't know what's going on, so I'll play that again.
He's Russian, dude. He drinks a lot of soda pop.
I was just like, whatever. He flashed red. Okay, I'll dodge. No, he already punched me. Okay, he flashed. Oh, I got punched. Like, it was just brutal. Like, I just got smoked immediately. So yeah, that game is as it's supposed to be. You learn the patterns and punch guys.
Quick story about Super Punch Out on the SNES.
Mm-hmm.
I hadn't ever played it until I was about 19 years old or 20 maybe, and a friend was playing it and struggling with it, and then I was just like, I've never played this. I lost terribly when I took the controller from him, and I said, I am going to get good at this game, and 2 days later he came over and I beat the game in front of him. So I played the shit out of that game.
Cool. I should probably check it out. I mean, I really like the NES one, so.
There's some crazy characters in the Super Nintendo one. Like, there's a dude who fights you with a stick.
That guy is an asshole.
What's his something Carlo?
Okay.
Carlo. Hoy Quarlo or whatever.
Carlo.
Yeah.
He's like this old Chinese man. He has boxing gloves, but he's also got a cane. He's actively thwacking you with this, which is highly illegal in any real boxing match, but
it's Punch Out.
Dragon Chan that jumps around and kicks you in the face.
Yeah, what the hell?
Yeah, fuck Dragon Chan, man. Fuck him.
Then there's the guy, the clown juggler who throws balls at you.
Mad Clown. Yep.
Yeah, Mad Clown.
Jeez. Yep. Okay. So it's ridiculous and over the top, but boxing.
Little known fact about me, I know me some Super Punch Out very well.
Yeah, I played that game to death quite a bit. I was trying to find each character's dizzy state where you could one hit knock down them. It's pretty satisfying when you get Nick Bruiser to that state, and then he walks forward all proud, and then you smoke him in the face, and he just goes down like he crumbles.
Isn't it frame perfect though
It
for him?
is. It's pretty perfect for Nick Bruiser.
Yeah. There. Do you watch AGDQ?
Awesome Games Done Quick. Yes, yes, I do.
Did you watch the last one? Was it AGDQ or SD? The blind run of that game.
Yeah, I did watch that one. I remember things like he couldn't really dodge Mad Clown's balls because,
Yeah,
like you don't know where they're going to come from just from sound cues.
that's right.
Mm-hmm.
And I basically cheered when he did that, like that whole game or whatever, because the one part that I was just like, oh man, that's so awesome that they got this live on a marathon and stuff is where he's doing it blind, right? And then he's just like, I accidentally got that frame perfect punch, so now I have to adjust because he just like destroyed the end guy of the game. That was so good. Anyways, yes, Punch Out. There you go.
Punch Out. You guys are way more like. Did you play the Wii one then? Do you have negative thoughts about it, or do you like it? Like
I didn't have a Wii when that came out.
okay,
So I never bothered picking it up, but I'm sure it's fine, and I'm sure I would suck at it and then get good at it for 2 days and then probably put it down again like I did with Super Punch
yeah,
Out.
it's perfect at doing that. Like just like crazy fights and all that kind of stuff. I almost wish there was like more cutscene stuff. Like between circuits, you get a training cutscene, but it seems to be just the same one every time. And like it was in the NES of just like you're jogging in the pink suit or whatever, but there's like a glimpse of that, and the rest of it is just kind of Doc saying nonsense to you and eating chocolate, and I don't know. I wish there was like several of those, a couple gags instead of just redundant use of the same one.
You might be disappointed in the SNES one. There are like no cutscenes in it.
What?
Yeah, there isn't any.
So-
In fact, it's just like a screen that shows your time and then it goes to the next one.
Do you even have a trainer? Like
No,
there's
nothing.
no flavor dialogue?
There's nothing. It is just a straight
are
up
the
punching
trainer,
simulator.
Oh, okay. Huh. That is kind of different because yeah, I'm so used to kind of the in between round jokes and banter, and just like sign up for Nintendo Power, like just that kind of stuff. But okay, are you also Little Mac? Like who are you?
Yes.
Yeah,
you
you're
are.
a little mad. He
Okay.
looks a little different, but
But
Okay.
you have blonde hair, if I remember.
yeah,
You have a
blonde or
different colored
brown or
hair.
something. And he fights without his shirt on in that one.
Yeah.
He's
So
also
yes.
buffed as shit in the Super
Yes.
Nintendo one.
Yes,
the
he
night-
is.
90s Little Mac is pretty extreme.
He's not exactly Little Mac, maybe in stature, but like he's all man, baby.
Okay. Because yeah, it's super dumb seeing like I'm 17 and I'm 110 pounds and I'm fighting a 400 pound. It's like this would never happen.
Like I'm
it's
fighting
so
Super
dumb.
Macho Man,
Yeah,
who
this
apparently is
dangerous.
24.
Like if that guy hit you one time, you'd be done. And you're a kid. You should go home.
Well, in Super Macho Man's case, he had a one-hit and you're done punch. So
He did. That's right. The whirlwind punches.
yeah, and that thing was super fast in the Super Nintendo version.
You got
remember-
used to it though. Like
Yeah,
the weird thing about those games is that when you play it a lot, that game slows down because your brain is going like that. And like everything is in slow motion now, and you see the little tell, and then you're just like duck, 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 bam, bitch down.
It's almost like super hexagon reaction times.
Yeah.
Yeah. That might be it for me too in terms of games and stuff. I'm trying to think. Like
We should go to questions and
Tons of
stuff.
TV happened. A couple
Mhm.
films. Oh yeah, I watched Year One, the Harold Ramis movie, Jack Black and Michael Cera. Did you ever suffer through that? Either of
Why
you?
would I? I don't like Michael Cera.
Okay, don't watch this. This is basically just him doing the awkward thing, and that
Yeah,
is-
trust me, I wasn't going to.
No, that's fair. But I mean, I figured you were kind of slave to tradition or whatever. It's like I gotta check out Harold Ramis's last directorial feature.
No,
I
dude,
didn't
fuck
do
him.
that. Okay, damn. He's in it. It's just Bible jokes. It is two dudes wander around and run into a bunch of Old Testament stuff, and it is kind of harmlessly silly at times, and it's not the worst
Old
thing ever.
Testament, more like Old Testicle, am I right?
No.
Right, guys? Yeah.
It's a testicle joke. Kyle Gass.
as a man who only has one testicle, I appreciate this.
God
joke.
damn it. Yeah.
He's got a bag with Kyle Gass of Tenacious D fame. I won't belabor this.
Oh,
it was on
I played
Netflix.
Bioshock 1. It's still okay. Questions and stuff.
Questions and stuff.
Questions?
I got some Twitter stuff. So, Meow sent in some stuff. Like I said, all her stuff is lost in the ether because of terrible website stuff. I'm sorry, your voicemails are not going to be played. Like, better luck next time. I apologize. I couldn't do anything to help it.
It's probably for the best. I was going to be such a jerk and actually send myself a voicemail.
That'd be so good.
Yeah. Well, it didn't work out. It's fine.
Yeah. So on Twitter, I just went like, any questions or whatever, blah, blah, blah. And she said, for you, Carlos, I knew he watched Space Dandy and enjoyed it, but I wouldn't mind hearing some opinions on the series so far.
So I've seen the first episode of Space Dandy. It is going to be one of the Carlos and Dave Anime Rave episodes. For a kid who grew up in the 80s, that show was a super nostalgia trip.
Yeah.
That intro is... I turned to Dave and I said, this is 80s as shit.
Did you get the Japanese one? The funky... The, like, jazz funk intro?
We did watch the dub for that one, and we've kind of been mixing it up, the dub for some and the sub for others. But that intro was subbed, so it's kind of a weird soul music meets J-pop kind of vibe going on with it.
Okay.
The intro is super cool. There was one point where like Space Dandy and his buddy were on some planet, and there was a giant creature, and then an even bigger, ridiculous creature comes and eats the first one.
Yeah.
And then an even bigger one just beats the shit out of that one. And then this robot falls into the scoop and does a thumbs up at the end. And it's just kind of crazy and super, super kind of like absurdist humor. And sometimes it does the Japanese thing of calling out its own humor, which I always hate. It's like, oh, why are you being so whimsical when someone does something whimsy? But other times it just kind of lets the joke stand on its own, which I really appreciate. I'm really enjoying it so far.
I still stand... Nathan watched the sub for the first one.
Yeah.
I still stand by that you need to watch the dub, because
It's
the voice
goofier
acting...
somehow, or...
there's just subtle things that voice acting brings to you, I think, that when like you hear it in your own native language, it makes some of the jokes and like timing funnier. That's what I'm thinking.
No, that's fair. Just like I read a joke on the screen while craziness was happening. Like it doesn't quite pop the same way. Fair.
It all depends on the show too. Like Kill la Kill, there's no dub of it yet. I'm not a sub, like I'm not one of those sub elitist guys, but I'm not sure how well a dub could do for Kill la Kill, because a lot of its character has to do with just how crazy the voice acting is.
Sure, that's fair. Yeah. She also says some other stuff on Twitter for both of us. Okay. Tell Nathan I thought he did a good job on the solo podcast, and she also said most of my questions for him on the voicemail thingies. Why do you go to bed so early, Meowth? I tweeted right after you said that your voicemails got lost. You should have asked them. Oh my god. And she also said, I like watching Paul play Steam games. I think he should keep on doing it. I will keep on doing it. Thursdays, random game day sort of thing will happen. Or request a game day will happen. I already have the games picked out from last week when I took a hiatus because I wasn't feeling mentally fit to go on the internet that day. So I will go ahead and do that again. And as always, Friday morning live, it's just random shit. I will be doing that. Oni on Twitter. Like I said, Carlos is an expert in fighting games. Because he kind of is. So he's asking...
I'm really not. I am no expert. I'm an enthusiast who occasionally goes to tournaments.
I think he opened this up for all of us, but
okay.
I'm pretty sure this is mostly for Carlos because fighting games. Played Skullgirls? If so, how does it stack up to a lot of the bigger fighting game franchises?
Well, I'm a little biased on this one because Skullgirls is one of my favorite fighters.
Okay, I hated Skullgirls from what I played of it. So
To be as objective as possible, because I'm only human, I can't be completely objective. Mike Z made Skullgirls to kind of be his answer to Marvel 3. He wanted to make something that was closer to Marvel 2, but with little improvements and little tweaks, right? So, a lot of Marvel 2 does come out in Skullgirls. There's the team hyper combos and or the DHCs rather, where you do your next character super when your current one's out, and stuff like doing assists to keep the opponent locked down, and making sure your team jives with each other, and the game not really punishing you for running away, but making sure everyone has combo tools to close the gap, right? Um, it's a well-made game. It's a beautiful game.
Okay, this is where I have to ask you something quickly.
Go ahead.
Because when I played it, like I tried out, I think, a beta build or like a very, very early build of it that was going around for a while.
Mm-hmm.
And it played like garbage. Like I didn't feel good playing it at all. So maybe they tightened it up then.
There were Skullgirls. There was another version of it, as far as I know, before Mike Z came aboard.
Okay.
And then Mike Z came aboard, and that's the game that kind of looks like Skullgirls does now. I don't know what kind of fighter it was to begin with. I saw images of it back in back in the ancient times of the long, long ago when it wasn't a Mike Z production. So I never tried that game. I know that he has kind of tightened up the game systems a bit. The beginning metagame for Skullgirls was very combo heavy, and he kind of toned that down a bit. He made it a bit more focused on resets, where you want to do a combo, you kind of want to mix up a guy so that you can do another combo right after and get your damage scaling back on your side, right? So, I think it's a well-made game, and like whether or not it's anyone's favorite game, people have to admit that, it has a dev that actually listens to people and actually patches it and explains his changes and whatnot. So I like that out of any fighter.
Okay, just another quick anecdotal thing. Friend of mine who does like reviews or whatever, he actually does porn reviews, but like he also does video game reviews on a different site. Like porn reviews are how he brings in his money. That has nothing to do with what I'm about to say.
Though. I remember.
Okay, so that dude.
Callbacks. Yep.
Yeah. So, he reached out to them and said, like, is it supposed to feel this way, sort of thing? And they just shut him down by basically saying, like, you're full of shit. You don't know what you're talking about. And I thought that was really shitty, and I never wanted to play that game again after I saw that comment.
Huh.
So
I'd be interested in seeing that just out of curiosity.
Let me see if I can dig up a link for you while we keep doing the show.
Sure.
Yeah.
I mean, I like Mike Z, but I know sometimes he can be a little off-putting because he's an opinionated guy, right? He knows what he likes, he knows what he thinks is best, and
fair enough.
And I could see that being off-putting.
Okay, that's fair. Like, especially for people that do internet reviews, sort of thing, when like it's just a really bad thing to see another reviewer get called out that they're like an idiot. You know what I mean? Where it's just like, oh, well, you can't take criticism at all. That's really bad.
Well, in fairness, I think some reviewers do need to be called out on that, because I mean,
they do. You're right.
You'll occasionally get people like Ben Kuchera of the Penny Arcade Report, who his entire review of King of Fighters was all about how sexist the game was, and mentioning nothing about the mechanics.
Yeah, so, amazing. I mean, but you know what the fun thing is that guy has a job. He gets paid to do dumb shit like that.
I know. It makes me a little... look, I'm not saying that I would pop Ben Kuchera in the mouth if I ever did see him, but I do kind of want him to challenge me to a fight in like a Vegas boxing ring where we both sign disclaimers saying that we won't sue the other for any injuries, and I just want to go to town a little bit. I'm just saying.
Fight me IRL, faggot. Just send that to him on Twitter. I'm sure he'll respond.
Yeah, but it won't be with the Vegas boxing ring challenge.
No. Okay, so that was it for Twitter. I'm going to quickly do the voicemails here. Here we go.
So I'm kind of curious about how old you guys were when you first watched South Park. I was 10 when it came out, and I was hooked instantly. And while it's not a kid's show at all, I watched it from the perspective of identifying with the kids because they were the same age as me. The Simpsons was my favorite show. I watched it almost every day. First watched it Tracy Ullman shorts while I was still in the womb. But South Park grabbed me because I really identified with those kids in a way I never really did with Bart or Lisa. I still have my VHS tape I had back then of the Potbelly Elephant episode and the Death episode from season 1. And for me, South Park was never better than the movie, Bigger, Longer, and Uncut. I remember when Blame Canada got nominated for an Academy Award, my dad basically went, "Pfft, if you're going to nominate a song for that movie, at least do it honestly and nominate Uncle Fucker." Me and my friends played a lot of the N64 game that was a GoldenEye knockoff. That game gets shit. It was a lot of fun at the time. At least it set
Eh,
itself apart with the anti-gravity multiplayer map where you could
eh,
fly.
debatable.
Wait, what? The
It's like
South Park game?
actually holds up that well either. But
I
my
agree.
question for you guys is, when did you get into South Park, and how old were you?
I actually, by fluke, I didn't know that question was that question.
Mm-hmm.
Answered this, and it was when that episode aired, Pink Eye.
Right. Oh yeah, that's right. We had this
I
conversation of the
literally
first
looked
one
up
you ever saw.
when that aired, and that was the exact date. So, yeah.
I mean, I do remember that Oscar ceremony with Blame Canada, but honestly, I was not into South Park until I was like 19 or 20. Like, I worked at a video store, and a dude there kind of, like, I don't know. I think it was around when did the Warcraft episode come out?
Season 10. October 29th, 1997.
Was your start date?
Yeah, I was 11.
Okay. Wow.
Oh wow,
Yeah.
you guys are way younger than me now. I feel old.
It was like, yeah, it was kind of a sheltered upbringing, so I was not able to watch it for quite a while after that. But yeah, 2008, 2007, I watched a whole bunch of it.
I think I was 18 or 19. I didn't see it. I didn't see the original episode, but some friend like videotaped them on VHS of all things, and
Yeah.
brought them over to another friend's house, and I saw them there for the first time. He brought in like a whole bunch of season 1 episodes, so I'm pretty sure I was 18 or 19, and that's when I first got my dose, and I was kind of hooked from there on out.
Yep. Just that show has changed so much in their comedy style too. It's amazing.
Yeah, they've gotten rather political.
They have, but they've also gotten more relevant, like not just kind of one-off jokes or anything like that. The whole episode will revolve on like a
Like a
satirical thing.
topic or
Yeah,
Mhm, mhm.
more
kind of cool
focus.
though. But
Mhm.
yeah, next voicemail. Here we go.
The message from last week about kids in the movie theater reminded me of a similar experience I had last year. Okay, if you're a mother with a 5-year-old, maybe don't take your kid to a movie about a mother who gets possessed and tries to murder her children. Just a thought. Yeah, there were a
Jeez.
couple of parents with their kids at the showing for The Conjuring I went to last year, and this one girl just could not handle it. She tried to run out of the theater, and her mom, I'm assuming it could have been an aunt or a babysitter, I guess, grabbed her and tried to bring her to her seat. The kid could not be consoled, so they left the movie and they didn't come back. And I could see how someone might complain about that, but for me it kind of enhanced the experience, honestly. And I'm not sure if that was just a bad parent who didn't think about what they were taking their kid to, or an awesome parent who was just okay, like scaring the shit out of their kid. So I guess I could ask you about parenting choices, but fuck it. What's the first R-rated movie you remember seeing that didn't give you nightmares? For me, it's Terminator 2.
Okay.
That didn't give me nightmares because
Yeah.
I know my first R-rated movie, and it did give me nightmares.
Yep. Me too.
My,
What-
oh, you're gonna laugh. This was my first R-rated movie that I saw like before I entered puberty. A little gem from Japan called Akira.
Oh
Mm.
man. Okay.
Well, it's a cartoon, so how bad could it be?
Yeah, well, blood and that poor girl getting squished inside
That was
fucking Tetsuo's growing mutating body. You know, I saw that recently, and when that scene came up where she got crushed, I had this strange hankering for red meat.
really.
Yeah,
I guess, yeah, that always kind of upset me how callously that seems to happen. Like, it's just like, whatever. I was like, oh no!
yeah, and I wanted some steak tartare right that moment. Like, I needed red meat.
That's
I was a
Hannibal.
little disturbed at myself, actually.
Yeah. I guess I also watched Hannibal. But, okay, I think Predator might have been, for me, the Schwarzenegger movie.
Without any problems after?
Yeah, I don't think so.
Okay.
Although, I guess, little kid, like, this kind of age range, seeing... No, I guess I was 8. I honestly thought Batman Forever was kind of intense, dude. There was boiling
Okay.
acid, and I didn't like that. But I stayed for the whole movie. It was just kind of, taking... Like, I was just reading about The Conjuring specifically. Like, they were saying it was rated R just for being too intense. Like, there's no cut they could make to make it less intense.
Mm-hmm.
And fair enough, yeah. That kind of movie would have deeply bothered me as a little kid. Like, dude. So, yeah. Nightmare stuff, though, like Raiders, dudes melting, maybe, because also Old Testament, like fear of God type stuff as a little kid, like was genuine. So it's just like, oh no, that's stuff that can happen. Like that was kind of extra for me.
First one I saw that didn't give me nightmares when I was young was Rosemary's Baby because I found it boring.
It's kind of a slow build up. Yeah.
And
I
it's
like
not
it
terrifying
now.
until you realize what's going on. And when you're a kid, you don't realize what's going on very easily.
Because you're not paying attention. Yeah, fair enough.
And
So-
the first one that did give me nightmares, there was 2. I remember Hellraiser gave me nightmares when I was younger.
Mhm.
And the big one for me, one of the first horror movies I ever watched was Nightmare on Elm Street. And when you're a kid, the idea that something can kill kids in their dreams,
yeah.
like terrifying, fucking terrible. It's the worst.
It's a
Like
pretty
don't let
chilling
your
idea,
kid watch a movie where it's telling you the whole time that you're a kid, you are going to get killed when you go to sleep, because that kid won't sleep ever again.
Yeah, like or they'll try not to, and then they'll just be that's bad patterns. Like that's unhealthy. So yeah. Yep.
Okay, last voicemail. Here we go.
Hey, Paul. Hey, Nathaniel. I'm really happy with you right now, Paul. You're finally going to be playing Monster Hunter. I love you so much. You too, Nathan, but to a much lesser extent because you won't play Monster Hunter. So I'm thinking you're probably going to get killed by the Lagiacrus. But, you know, it's possible. You might run. So are you looking forward to it? I know I am. I'll see you at the... Damn it, fuck you.
All right. Am I looking forward to Monster Hunter? Honestly, not really.
Wait, do you actually have it though, or were you just kind of joking around?
No, I promised him I would buy it and have my first experience on stream, but he had to be there the whole time I streamed and not look away.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's a weird pact of just like, I'm gonna play your favorite game wrong. Check this out.
Yeah, pretty much. I think my words to him were, you have to stay the whole time while I troll you with my playing.
Okay.
So, I am going to be doing that probably in about 2 weeks or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
It was going to be this week, but I have some other stuff planned and I don't want to, and other shit came in the way. But yeah, I'm going to give it a shot. And like, am I excited about it? Not particularly. Not more. I don't get excited about video games much anymore because it leads to disappointment.
Yeah, it's more like when you find one that it's like, wow, I actually really like this. Like it's that much more exciting.
Yeah.
But going in, it's just like, who knows anymore? Like everything could be terrible.
Carlos, how much do you love Monster Hunter?
I don't.
Okay.
I played Monster Hunter 3 and I was like, this is kind of like PSO or Diablo, but I'm very uninterested in anything that's happening.
The PSO
However,
comparison, yeah, like I see that in everything, and it's just like, why is there like a following for this?
now I'm not
With
going to
that
judge.
sci-fi.
I'm not going to judge anyone who does like it because I mean, I'd play way too many hours of Diablo 3 while listening to podcasts, and I
That
know
game's
why I'm
great.
doing it. I'm doing it to get loot, and it's
It's
really
good.
shallow and dumb, but I like it. And I mean, I like Dynasty Warriors Gundam, so I can't really judge anybody's taste in games. But Monster Hunter, not really my thing.
Hmm.
Yeah,
I guess the Dynasty Warriors comparison is also kind of interesting. I was just like, it's never been kind of finely honed, but it just keeps doing its thing, and there is a group that wants that and will
Well,
always want that.
I really like the Gundam ones just because I recognize a bunch of these suits. I recognize a bunch of the characters from the awful Gundam series they're all in, except for G Gundam. G Gundam's great. And I just like to kill hundreds of robots with another robot, and that kind of does it for me. So I'm like, yeah, giddy up. I know this is a subpar game, but whatever.
As advertised, so I know what I'm gonna get.
yeah.
Warriors.
All right. Well, thank you for questions and Twitter stuff. If you wanted to do the same thing, this is how you're going to do it right here.
Wait.
Got a question or comment for the show? You can email us at podcast@pixelresponse.com or leave a voicemail using the voicemail feature on the right side of the main page. On Twitter, you can reach Nathan at Krasnor and Paul at Exposure. Be sure to check us out on Facebook at facebook.com/thepixelresponse and visit pixelresponse.com for more.
That's all a fallacy, by the way.
I was like, most of those things are still true, but the core site thing is not
Like,
at all.
Just an idea. Why don't you get off your ass and just follow us on Twitter? If you've been listening to us this
What's
long,
in there? That was mentioned.
yeah, but like, why don't you just do that? Like, fuck all the other stuff. Just follow us on Twitter. We'll tweet when we do stuff. I mean, stop being a dick.
What? Okay. Are
People are
people
being
actively
about
been
it.
not following?
I don't know.
Okay.
Like, probably now, as soon as I release this, just like, oh, 600 people gone.
Yeah, 600 people were like, oh man, I really should feel bad I don't follow that guy's Twitter. Follow.
That would be amazing. Just like 10,000 people. It's like,
Just
we
people
were listening
getting shamed
time.
into following you.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, asshole, follow me, bitch. And they're like, okay.
Okay, I guess so. You make a compelling argument. But yeah, Carlos, thank you for joining us.
Well, thank you for having me. I realize I sound a little tired. That's because I am.
Yep.
But it is always fun to come on and to shoot the shit, as it were, and have good times and talk about movies and games and stuff.
Yeah, it's always a good time. Also, you do some stuff. You do a lot of stuff, actually, honestly.
I do entirely too much stuff. The best way to find that stuff is to follow me on Twitter at handsomefatman. Or you could go to the podcast site I co-host, Two Fat Guys Talk Games, tfgtg.blogspot.com. We have two shows now, the podcast proper and the insanely much more popular Anime Rave, where Dave and I watch animes and I get very mad at them.
Yeah, fair enough. That sounds like something I would be into watching, actually. More so than the actual anime.
A good starting point might be to watch our Anime Rave of Steins Gate. It is one of the most popular animes out these days, very highly rated. It is garbage. It is hot garbage. I don't understand how anyone likes it.
What?
It is horrifyingly bad.
Steins? Is it about monsters?
It's about some stupid Japanese asshole who talks way too much, who can send texts back in time for purposes that I'm never going to find out because I nearly killed myself watching that show.
Texts? But okay. I won't inquire further, I guess.
Yeah, he microwaves a banana and it turns green, and they never explain why. Okay. I'm not even fucking kidding you, man.
What is that?
Also, you are the voice master for Air Dash Academy and Guilty Bits.
Yes, I do the voice work for the various series that Novril puts out. His channel on YouTube is Novril Tataki. That's also his YouTube or his Twitter handle. Yeah, if you want to watch quality tutorial videos, seek out Guilty Bits and Air Dash Academy, and hopefully we'll be putting out more videos for you to learn fighting games very soon.
I watched some of those and I learned quite a bit, and also there was a whole bunch of shit I couldn't understand you talking about, so
There is they are kind of meant more for the person who knows like what that IAD means, instant air dash, for instance.
Mhm.
They're aimed more at the person who kind of knows the terminology, but they might not know when they would dash forward or when they might throw out a move or a chain. Um,
Mhm.
we have been told that maybe a more beginner-centric video is in order, and I think Novril is mulling the idea. We'll see what comes out, though.
Okay.
Mhm.
Well, very cool. So yeah, stop being a dick and follow him too. God.
yeah, you assholes on Twitter. Come
You
on, man.
fucking dicks,
Just keep
man.
raising that number. And anytime that follower number comes up, I do orgasm in real life. Sometimes I'm in the middle of a meeting and I'm like, oh, another Twitter follower.
Which is hard to do with one testicle, by the way. So
It's not as
that's how
hard as
much
you might
he
think.
that's how much he needs it. He
One
needs your
test
follows.
one testicle still produces quite a bit of testosterone. In fact, this little baby's just firing on overdrive all the time.
I guess it would have to compensate, right? So it's just like going crazy.
It
There's actually more testosterone because of
what
it.
like if for some reason my testicle just exploded, it would impregnate everyone within a 30-mile radius.
Like the Akira dome
Uh,
of like
sort of,
semen.
except yeah, sort of, except somehow far more disgusting.
Fair enough,
There you
Nathan.
have it.
Any closing thoughts from Nathan?
12 Angry Men is really good. People should go watch it. And we'll start a movie club, and you can talk about it in the forums. There aren't any. Sweet.
There are
Right.
forums.
There are forums?